Not so much.
Yeah, it's not. I'd be in that fun. Those are not, use that cars are bad.
Scott, if you need to sit over here, there's
I like this.
Yeah, there
Boy, I haven't seen Chad forever.
Nice sweatshirt. Where'd you get it?
You need to, I mean, there's probably back here or something.
Oh, I have to.
Yeah, I have lots of burning questions.
Before we go, Renee?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Ready? Okay. I'll call us back to order from closed session at 6 o'clock. And I'll let Joe do our report out on action items.
So for item 2.1, it was moved by trustee Paoli and seconded by trustee Oxley and passed by a vote of 4-0 with one absence to approve a stipulated expulsion order for student 26-01. And for item 2.4, it was moved by trustee Paoli, seconded by trustee Schneider, and passed by a vote of 4-0 with one absence to approve a leave of absence for a certificated employee. No other action was taken.
Thank you. All right, do I have any items for the agenda that need to be moved, pulled, anything like that?
So we do need to change if we could move up the presentation for the audit report. So what space did we say?
Up to just following public comment, 11.1. 11.1 up to
7, or in between 7 and 8?
Yeah.
Between 7 and 8, yeah. Thank you.
Do we want to move item 10 up at all?
10.
Because of the.
Oh, I'm happy to move that one up as well because we do have, that is not a timed item, so it can be any time after 6 o'clock. So that's absolutely, I think.
It's up to the board, but it might be nice to.
like a 10, like before reports.
So yeah, maybe between 7 and 8.
We do have the student reps have asked to go as well. So
Okay, so
Can
maybe
we- are you okay? You're okay to stay through those 2 items? Okay, thank you. Okay, then we can go ahead and put it after 11.1. All righty.
So I move to approve the amended agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, agenda's with 2 modifications. All right. Any public comment on non-agenda items?
I do not have public comment on non-agenda unless there's anyone who, oh, I do have one, yes. But I told you didn't have to fill out a form.
I appreciate you. Ray.
Okay,
That's for somebody else.
all right.
Wearing my mock trial coaching hat very quickly, Michael Lang, one of the 3 coaches of the Fort Bragg High School mock trial team. I wanted to commend our entire team on a very close county competition. We did come in 3rd. It was very, very strong competition throughout. But we did have our journalist, Nathan Kresh, and our artist, Melinda Santiago, qualify for the state competition next weekend. So we're very excited to go to Oakland for March 22nd and 21st and 22nd. So just wanted to give them a shout out and commend them for qualifying for state.
Thank you.
That's the only non-agenda that I have.
Thank you for sharing. Then I'll call item number 4, patriotic exercise.
I choose a video about the history of the anthem. And because it's amazing how only a rhythm can bring people together, so we are together.
Thank you.
Stand by for Luce's patriotic exercise.
We do have chairs up front. Thank you.
I think our recording has disabled the sound.
Everybody just stand.
Yeah, because it's got funny.
You can read it.
See? Yeah, it's got the-
Obviously, I apologize, I'm a little unsure.
It's probably a recording. So. I apologize. We're still working out some of those. We will have this also linked in our presentation.
There it is.
Nope, I hear something.
During the Civil War and then the U.S. Centennial in 1876, the Union's connection to the flag deepens. Key's composition becomes even more popular. When the U.S. military begins playing the song during flag raisings, its patriotic significance is cemented. And playing the Star-Spangled Banner at baseball games? That starts as early as 1862, gaining popularity as loudspeakers improve. In 1918, it is famously performed at a World Series game in Chicago. Across the Atlantic, a world war rages. The day before, right in Chicago, a federal building had been bombed. The mood at the sparsely attended ballpark is glum. Then, during the seventh inning stretch, the military band plays an old tune. Slowly, the crowd begins to sing along, saluting the flag and rising to their feet. An American tradition is born. When it comes time to select a national anthem in the 1920s, Key's song isn't a shoo-in. The decision sparks intense debate in Congress. Some members argue the Star Spangled Banner is too difficult to sing or too focused on war. But in 1931, Congress finally designates the Star Spangled Banner as the national anthem. Today, it reminds us of our nation's storied history, making it hard to imagine any other song taking its place.
Sorry about that.
I'm a doctor, and my passion.
No.
Thank you. So we'll move on to item number 5, acknowledgements.
Okay, so the board wishes to acknowledge that March is recognized as National Women's History Month and National Nutrition Month. National School Breakfast Week was March 2nd through the 6th. Read Across America Day was on March 2nd, and Cesar Chavez Day is on March 31st. We also have donation acknowledgements. We'd like to acknowledge that $200 was received to support the Fort Bragg Middle School wrestling program from an anonymous donor, and $150 was received from the Luther Burbank Center to support FBMS transportation cost for a 6th grade field trip visit.
Thank you. Okay, has the board received any communications? Okay. All right, so do we have any public comment on agenda items that would like to speak now versus the item?
I would recommend all the comments that we have are tied to our public hearing, which I think is the appropriate time for that, if the board would agree. Seems how it's coming up.
Right. And is everybody okay that put in their speak?
Is there any other comment that's not related to item 10?
Okay, all right, thank you. So we'll do 11.1 first, which is our 2024-2025 audit report.
And for background, as we're getting the auditor on the screen here, we are required to fill out or to have an annual audit of our finances. This report is running later than it typically would be. Some of it was from when there was the federal government shutdown, we had a delay in receiving some of the required information for the report. So it's kind of been delayed a couple of times, but we do have a deadline of March 15th on this one. Cool. Well, if he's not on board yet, maybe we can wait and
Do the public hearing first.
He was given 6:10 to 6:15, so he's definitely, it's the window. It's just,
And the individuals from San Diego?
I believe so. It's with Christy White and Associates.
This
Our
is John
audit.
Peta.
Well, I'd hate to start the public hearing then because that's going to take a few minutes. So maybe we'll, maybe I'll read the disclosure on public comment.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a good time to do that. Individuals may address the board on agenda and non-agenda items during public comment and/or at the time they are under consideration by completing the speaker form provided on the table at the entrance and submitting to Renee Hull's administrative assistant. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual, and speakers will be chosen in random order. A timer will be set for 3 minutes. If you do not complete your comment when the timer rings, you may leave a written comment for the board's information. Each person may only speak once per agenda topic and is required to address the board from the podium. A total of 20 minutes public comment per topic will be allowed. In exceptional circumstances, the board may consider adjusting the time allowed for public comment. Public comment cannot be acted upon or discussed by the board in accordance with the Brown Act, and the board may request staff to respond orally at the meeting or in writing at a future time. If you require translation services, please contact Renee Hull at the district office 72 hours in advance by phone or by email. And our regular meetings are videoed and broadcasted on the YouTube channel. Members of the public wish to address the board during the board meetings are asked to please submit prior to the start of the meeting by emailing the board meeting at FBUSD.us. Staff will make sure all attempts to share and record any submissions received prior to or during the meeting. However, depending on timing, late submissions may be provided to the board after the conclusion of the meeting, and comments are limited to 3 minutes each, approximately 390 words. And if we have some virtual comments, I'll read that disclosure. Okay, then I'll read it now. Are we still waiting?
Yes.
Okay, so the following public comments that will be received by the district using the public comment email address. For ease of public participation, it will be read into the record by the district employee. And please remember, this should not be construed as an endorsement of this comment by the district or the position of the board.
We still do not have.
We'll give him a minute and then he'll just have to wait.
It's been plenty of
Was
money.
this a request
This
from
was-
them to present? Because normally they don't present because Wendy would just,
Yeah.
we go to the findings and
It was a
and there
request
one
from them, and
finding.
I'm not sure, I think it's just to explain the one finding that we have. So-
Okay, the clock strikes 16, we're moving on.
Moving on.
Because then he's late. We have a room full of people. And there it goes. Okay, so Renee, if you could just somehow message and let him know that he's, yep, we'll come back to it. Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 10, our public hearing regarding our charter renewal with Three Rivers Charter School. So Joe, would you maybe do a little introduction and then?
Absolutely. We also have the pleasure of having Kim Morgan has put together a little presentation too that we will bring up. It just kind of gives an overview, and then we certainly have some comments there. But it is time for us to renew the charter for Three Rivers Charter School. I met with their board earlier this week, Tuesday, right? It's been a week. And shared with them, you know, we have a great relationship in our district. You don't always hear this story with a lot of charter schools, but we work really well together, you know, have a collaborative relationship supporting all of our students here in Fort Bragg. So really pleased that this is a formality for the most part. You know, it'll give the board some opportunity to ask any questions they may have. Also to show the adequate, you know, quite more than adequate support that exists in the room from the parents and the students that attend the school and are successful there. So I'm very excited to hear some of that feedback as we move through the evening. With that, I would invite Kim Morgan to come up and maybe run through your presentation.
I usually have slides and kind of just off the cuff, but tonight I wrote something. So I have a slide presentation for you. I'm Kimberly Morgan. I'm the school director at Three Rivers Charter School. Thank you to everyone who showed up tonight in support. How awesome. And to the trustees and staff for your time in this process. Next slide. This is our 20th year of existence. So we are celebrating 20 years this year. We started off in 2005 as a learning center under Mattole Valley Charter. And we've evolved and grown ever since into the school that we are today. Next slide. So I have a brief presentation tonight that just highlights the accomplishments since our last renewal, which was back in 2018 before the pandemic. We've come a long way, as many of you know, as being Three Rivers families or being on the board. Next slide. One of the biggest transformations since our last charter renewal has been our school facility and the grounds around campus. And there's some great pictures of it. We completed upgrades on the building, including paint, new floors, a fenced yard, a new fountain and outdoor sink, picnic tables, the development of a food prep room for our new meal program. Through the efforts of many valuable family volunteers, staff, and board members, we have improved the playground, added a basketball court, created an outdoor tent area for meals, remodeled the school garden, and created multiple decompression areas for students around campus. Next slide. So that one's about your space.
It's jumping on something.
A focus and strength at TRCS are our family events that bring the school and the broader community together to campus around academics, student achievement, community building, and support. This is a huge piece of the school culture. Over the last several years, we have built on long-standing TRCS traditions like the annual back to school and awards barbecues and the science fair night, while adding many more opportunities for connections and engagement such as STEAM night, family dances and potlucks, a fun fair, and community bingo night. TRCS has been at several events in the community doing outreach, such as Earth Day that's coming up here at the Noyo Food Forest on April 18th. We'll be there. We've also worked the last few years to find success in our parent-teacher network meetings that happen quarterly for families to come hear updates, give feedback, and connect with each other over pizza with a movie night for the students. We onboarded Parent Square a few years back as well that has successfully improved our school-to-home communications and provides translation for families to receive information in languages other than English. Next slide. Two of our greatest accomplishments in recent years are the creation of the school meals program, now in its 4th year, and our after-school program that we call Tides. TRCS students are offered a free breakfast and lunch each day in collaboration with our lunch vendor, Harvest Market. Tides, our robust after-school program, provides free after-school enrichment, snacks, academic support, and play each day until 5 p.m., which is very much appreciated by our students and families. Next slide. Over the last several years, we have expanded student engagement opportunities for students. In the realm of visual and performing arts, our music program has always been a pillar at TRCS since the beginning. We've added an annual variety show and music concert that has become a popular annual event on the big stage at Cotton Auditorium, as well as an after-school music club. This year, we have a storytelling teacher in each class weekly, and I've also had an art a la carte program with an art instructor in each class weekly, funded by Prop 28 Arts and Music in the Schools. Outdoor education has also become a focus over the last couple of years as well, with our older students attending the local environmental education camp Peak and other field trips, in addition to professional development for teachers who are integrating more outdoor learning activities in their classes. Sports have also been an added highlight, including our Osprey basketball teams pictured here with their new Osprey basketball jerseys. Wrestling and other after-school sport activities have been offered since the last renewal as well. Next slide. A little more on student engagement. We continue to offer and grow many more engagement activities, including our annual spelling bee and a thriving student council giving students agency about school events and activities. The Mendocino Mock Trial Team was founded at TRCS in 2022 and offered opportunities for middle school students on the coast to participate, which led to the revival of the Fort Bragg High School team, where many of our alumni still compete. We continue to offer Friday electives and our whole school No One Eats Alone lunch picnics that enhance an inclusive culture, a student designed free yearbook for everyone each year, as well as a student designed t-shirt that everyone receives. Yes, some are represented here in the room tonight. Celebrating 20 years. Let's see. So all this information, in addition to data on our academic achievement, demographics, and educational programs, And all of the many required other elements are contained in the renewal petition that you have received. 2 TRCS policies that have been updated by our board since the submission have been submitted to Superintendent Aldridge. That was the admission and enrollment policy and discipline policy, so now they're congruent with what's written in the document. And then I know for Prague Unified's legal brought up the point about our budget in the out years and how there is a budget shortfall. And I just wanted to note that our board has discussed it at length, and we do have a substantial savings, and we're prepared to address that as the time gets closer in whatever we need to do. So again, thank you for working through this renewal process with us. It's been no small task. We look forward to continuing to work with this board and staff in the next cycle of the charter, serving the children and families in our community. Cool.
Sorry.
That's okay.
This will start.
Okay, so I'm gonna officially open the public hearing at 6:25 with any questions and comments from the public. So do we have any questions first
From the board or the public?
from us?
From us.
Because that's what Kim opened the floor to.
Well, comment and a couple questions. One, most people know my heart is at Three Rivers. Love it. All my kids went there for a good amount of time. So glad to see Mr. Floyd in the room, who put his heart and soul into this place, and Ms. Morgan, who has continued it, and all of the families that are currently a part of it. Such a great part of our community, and excited to be a part of hopefully keeping it going for at least another 5 years. You mentioned the fiscal out years, and these are not really questions I need answers to, just kind of things. Good to hear that you have good reserves. I know we're dealing with that on our end, and just hopefully the school is going to be in good shape and won't have to go through any sort of crisis over the next few years. Facilities, can you briefly tell us where we are with the lease from the college and how, are we good for
Yeah, it's
extended period?
through, when we did the remodel, the agreement was, the lease is through 2028 with two-year renewals. We also have a great relationship with Mendocino College at this time. And so we'll be discussing that in the coming years.
So no more, so there hasn't been any discussion about other sites or building, or you guys are happy where you are, you fit well, and it's.
We're making it work. There's definitely a game of Tetris. We have storage containers, and we've grown into the site, and we've made it work for the programs, and the staff and everybody are amenable to sharing. We share. Yeah.
And I know one thing we've been working on a lot on our end is safety procedures, safety committees, and I didn't really read the whole renewal, but I assume you guys have good emergency plans and.
Yeah, we have a
All your
comprehensive
drills.
safety plan, the committee, and the board approves it every year. The staff does trainings each summer. Every couple of years we do CPR, first aid, but we review the plans each August when we come back together.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board?
I just want to comment because I was a 2-year board member when you renewed in 18, and it was such a different package. And the pieces and just the volume. So I just really have to, I'm pretty proud of you guys, what you've bolstered for your school and made it a nice option. And yeah, the growth that you have in your program. So it looks like the kids have a good choice, and it looks like also the code is kind of aligned so that it's a little bit more user-friendly, because I think back in the day, there was too much power for school boards to say, well, we're not going to renew you. So there's more support that if it is, you're meeting those baselines. And the only question I did have, it was, maybe it's a legal question, but it looks like, I think in old times, we would renew at 3 years, and this is 5, but then there was an option to do 7. So was it recommended by legal not to do 7?
It's the tiers that is in the new legislation. So it's about the standing of the charter school. So sort of the standard renewal is 5 years.
Gotcha.
If they were all in the blue on everything on the
Then you
dashboard,
would recommend a
then it would be
7.
7 years. So it's laid out in there. So they qualify for the 5
Perfect.
years, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's really nothing that looked like it wasn't in line for the initial 5. Great.
And my only, last comment is I'd love to explore your transportation plan and maybe seeing if somehow we can work with you guys to help students that have transportation
I
issues.
love that.
get to
We would
school.
love that.
So as a board, I'm just putting it out there in the universe that I know logistics are probably impossible or next to impossible, but keep that conversation
Noted, thank you.
going.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
So
So we have members of the public, and we will have the 3-minute timer running. So I'm trying to help for me. We have yours.
3 minutes.
Then I will call. I have been shuffling these, so these are completely random here. So our first speaker will be Sierra Knox.
Is there the 20-minute thing is not for public hearings, it's not.
It's not, but we still keep the 3-minute per speaker.
Good morning. Good evening, members of the board. I'm speaking to you from 2 perspectives. One is a proud parent of a 7th grader at 3 Rivers, and the other, for the last 8 years, a dedicated staff member at Fort Bragg Unified School District. Let me begin with my wonderful son, Jack. Jack had the privilege of having the amazing Cunha Drones as his kindergarten teacher. Cunha taught my son how to behave in a classroom, how to sit where he was supposed to raise his hand and not speak out of turn. If the teacher is talking, listen, don't talk. These were lessons we were also instilling in him at home. Have respect for those around you. In the 1st grade, Jack was labeled a teacher's pet and started getting bullied by his peers. His wonderful teacher told me to advocate for him and get him out of her class. After meetings with admin, we put some tools in place to support him. However, the class was full of disruptive students and the tools failed. That was 2019-2020. Jack's 2nd grade was virtual and he thrived. It wasn't a wasted year for him. He had perfect attendance and his teacher valued having a student on the screen who always participated. Dan Gray was rough and I documented everything. The aggressive language, the food being stolen, the tripping, shoving, slapping, and slurs thrown at him on a regular basis. The staff was lovely, but could only do so much. We taught him to turn the other cheek. Jack persevered and developed a condescending tone towards the disruptors. This caused more friction, as you can imagine. 5th grade was the most difficult. Jack physically fought back twice. In neither incident was he disciplined because the staff was fully aware of our problems. The day everything changed was the day I went to pick Jack up for a doctor's appointment, and his dedicated teacher told me, "Thank God you are here. This class is unruly and Jack is suffering." I pulled him out that day because it was not working for Jack. More than just keeping him safe, they couldn't provide him with the opportunity to strengthen and enhance his developing academic and social skills. Miss Morgan was our angel that day. She was there at 4 on a Friday and let me cry. She had one spot for us. She and her amazing staff have changed my son's life. At 3 Rivers, Jack has been able to work to his academic levels. He is taking Algebra 1 as a 7th grader. He has excelled to the high honor roll. He has qualified for the Mendocino County Science Fair. He joined the mock trial. He has made close friends and gained the confidence to join the basketball team, even though he had never played before. He is on the student council as their treasurer, leading a team of students from other grade levels. He has learned to play the guitar. He collaborated with classmates as one of the MCs for the variety show. He gets time to spend with the younger grades during No One Eats Alone and other activities that is school-wide, and has been praised by the school counselor for how he treats the younger kids. The feel of a small community was what he was missing. Jack is finding and knowing himself. 3 Rivers has changed his life and educational trajectory. Thank you so much. We need them in our community.
Our next speaker is Jory Wellspring. Oh, Wellspring, sorry.
Hi, I'm Jory Wellspring. I'm in 5th grade and I've been going to 3 Rivers Charter School since I was in 3rd grade. I love 3 Rivers because it's not like, I learned a ton of stuff there, but it's not just boring, like, the whole time it's just, like, writing things in your notebook. It's just, like, you can, like, play, like, fun games with it, and it's, like, fun activities all the time, but you aren't just, like, only playing games, so things, like, mix together perfectly, and, there's like tons of school activities, like Friday electives where you can go on student council, work in the school garden, learn improv, among many things. You can learn how to crochet, do silent art, and there's a choice per each semester, so you don't have to stick with the same thing every year. If you're in 5th grade and up, you can go to a music class for half an hour each week, and you can learn like saxophone, piano, drums, pretty much any musical instrument you can imagine. There is a county science fair where you can go to the county, and you can also, if you're 6th grade and up, you can go to the state fair. So anyone 6th grade and up in our school could in turn have they could go be the winner of the state science fair. In conclusion, I love Three Rivers because it blends together everything that provides learning and also provides fun.
Next, we have Alex Reese.
Hey everybody, my name is Alex Reese, and I am 18. I'm a senior at Fort Bragg now. I first went to Three Rivers in 4th grade. That was my first time in a classroom. I was homeschooled before that, and so that was my first time really getting a classroom experience. That class was a 3rd/4th combo, and it was like 25 students, a teacher, and an aide. And I genuinely remember that year really well. I still see and have conversations with a lot of people from that class. That class was like really well mixed. It never seemed like divided by like boys and girls or like even just friend groups. In fact, I even went to lunch with a couple of kids from my class earlier this week. I also went to Three Rivers for 5th, 6th, and 8th grade. When I was in 8th, I was in Mr. Lang's class, and I was given all the support I needed to push myself beyond the typical 8th grade material in Fort Bragg. And that allowed me to become the only person in my freshman class to be in Algebra 2. And I really enjoyed that accelerated math path at Fort Bragg. Three Rivers really just gave me a place where I felt challenged academically, but it was also just a place where I could be myself and enjoy it. And I really just enjoyed going to school. Like I never really dreaded it. There were always like enough aspects of the day that I looked forward to that it always seemed like just something to look forward to. Now I am ranked number 1 in my graduating class, and I don't think that would be the case without Three Rivers and the support that I got there. And I think the skills that they taught me go far beyond just the classroom. Their REACH motto of respect, empathy, achievement, citizenship, and hard work are all things that have aided me a lot in not just my life in the classroom, but also in other areas as well. So, thank you.
Next, we have Michael Lane.
Good evening, trustees, Mr. Superintendent, members of the community. My name is Michael Lang. I've resided in Fort Bragg for the past 12 years. My wife and I are both teachers in town. We have a 2-year-old daughter and a second child on the way, both of whom we hope to raise in this beautiful coastal community we live in. We both come from multi-generational families. Some of you may have walked these very halls with our parents or one of our many aunts, uncles, or cousins. I've been fortunate enough to have spent a lot of time at Fort Bragg, even when I didn't live here. Somewhere very special to me and somewhere I've always considered my home. I've also been very fortunate to spend over 2 decades working with youth in various capacities in different communities, large, small, rural, and urban. These positions have afforded me the opportunity to work with students from all walks of life and truly understand that each student has different needs. I spent my first 3 years teaching at Fort Bragg Middle School, where I learned the profession alongside some outstanding colleagues. As it came time for me to start a new teaching journey, I was fortunate to find Three Rivers Charter. This school gave me the opportunity to do exactly what I entered this profession to do: connect learning through projects and build meaningful relationships with students to support them not just academically, but personally. I joined an amazing collaborative environment where our staff works hard to provide individualized support to every one of our students and bridge all gaps of learning: social, emotional, and academic. We accelerate students when they're ready, scaffold for diverse learners, and implement project-based learning across all our grades. This is often in contrast to larger schools where it can be difficult to collaborate or provide the individualized attention some students need. Our smaller environment allows us to slow that down a little. When I asked my students yesterday what our school excels at, they noted that we offer broad educational opportunities, build trust through fostering a close community of staff and students across our many grade levels, and provide supports that help many of our students reconnect with school and rediscover their confidence as learners. And this is what I'm here to ask you to allow us to continue to do. Our goal at Three Rivers is not to replace the district, but to provide an additional option for all of our coastal families. I've seen many students come to us who are struggling in other environments, but found a sense of comfort, belonging, and support at our school. I've had incoming families share with me that their students began to re-engage with school and find a joy in learning they either never had or had lost along the way. And a few weeks ago, a parent told me that their student came home from school and said that they had a great day at school for the first time in their entire educational experience. Being able to offer a student that kind of experience where they actually look forward to going to school each day is something truly meaningful. Different students succeed in different environments, and Three Rivers helps to ensure that more students in our area are able to find an environment where they can thrive. When students who may have struggled in another setting begin to reconnect with school, build confidence, and find success, that benefits not just our schools, but our entire community. Again, our goal is to complement, not replace, the important work of our district schools. Everybody in this room wants the same thing. For our students, they want them to thrive, grow into active, responsible community members and capable adults. You took your positions with the best interest of all students in mind, as did we. We are here to support and join you in that effort, and we hope we will approve the renewal of our charter for the next 5 years.
Next we have Courtney Teason.
Hi guys. I will be short. I just want to say thank you to Three Rivers. My daughter is in Miss Natalie's class as a 3rd grader, and she's just loved every day. She's always excited to go to school. She wakes up at 5 a.m. reading. She just loves it, and everyone knows her, and everybody knows everybody. And there's just such a warmth of care and love at the school, and she just feels really loved. And thank you so much.
Next we have Dana Vogel.
All right. I'm sorry, my allergies are trying to take my voice, so I don't usually sound like this. My name is Dana Bogley, and I am the current president of the Three Rivers Charter School Board. I'm here tonight representing our board and a couple of our board members here with me. We are here in enthusiastic support of the Fort Bragg Unified School District Board approving the charter renewal for Three Rivers Charter School. Our board is comprised of 6 members. We are parents of current and former Three Rivers students, parents of students attending other Fort Bragg Unified schools, and former Three Rivers staff. Collectively, we have experienced Three Rivers from many angles, and we work closely with Kim Morgan in supporting the school's governance and long-term success. It is clear to us that Three Rivers staff are deeply committed to the school's mission to educate students to become well-rounded individuals with a lifelong love of learning and the ability to think and act with moral integrity. We consistently see that mission reflected in the dedication of the school staff, the culture of the school, and the meaningful learning experiences provided to students. Three Rivers provides an educational experience for both students and teachers that is unique within the district. For many families, Three Rivers is not simply an alternative, it is the environment where their children thrive, as we've heard. The continued success of the school reflects the commitment of its staff, students, families, and the broader community that supports it. For these reasons, we respectfully urge the board to approve the charter renewal for Three Rivers Charter School so that it can continue providing this valuable educational option for students in our district. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Those are all of the speaker forms that we have for folks in the room. I have a couple of items that were submitted through our public comment. So read those into record. So we had Krista Pelican said, please vote to continue the Three Rivers Charter School tenure for another 5 years. It is a wonderful school and after-school program that benefits the community. And we have from the Rhodes family. My name is Ryan Rhodes. I am a Fort Bragg Unified School District resident and the parent of 2 children in the district. Both of my boys attended Redwood Elementary and one still does. I want to start by saying how much I appreciate the work the district is doing. The new TK program and the expanded Flockworks Kudos programs have been a real blessing for working parents with young children like me. Today, I am writing to express my strong support for the charter renewal of Three Rivers Charter School. I grew up here on the coast and both of my parents were local public school teachers. Because of that, I understand that schools and districts face real budget pressures and difficult decisions. I respect the work of this board, district staff, and our teachers to provide a multitude of educational opportunities and programs for our children. When I was younger, I didn't know much about charter schools, and honestly, I assumed they weren't the best use of district resources. That perspective changed once I became a parent and became involved with Three Rivers Charter School. Now I see firsthand the value of schools like these that like Three Rivers provide. My older child struggled in a traditional classroom environment. There were many days he came home from school in tears. The learning structure that worked for me growing up simply was not working for him. Since enrolling at Three Rivers, that has completely changed. He is happy and excited about school. In fact, the only time he seems frustrated is if I pick him up before 5 p.m. Since attending Three Rivers, I've seen tremendous growth in his social and emotional development. The communication from staff is incredible, often weekly, sometimes daily. And as a parent, I feel much more connected to my child's education at Three Rivers. I can track what assignments he is or is not working on at almost any time. Our family feels supported by the teachers, staff, and especially the administration. I'm truly grateful that families on the Mendocino coast have this option. It has made and continues to make a meaningful difference for my child and our family. I appreciate the work this board does and the commitment you show to all the students in the district. As a parent and taxpayer in this community, I strongly encourage you to renew the charter for Three Rivers Charter School. Thank you, the Rhodes family. I think that is the conclusion of our public comment.
I'll make one more call from the public. Any other comments? Any questions or comments from?
If I could share just kind of next steps and provide, typically after a public hearing, we would move to immediately into action on a lot of things. In this situation, because we were waiting on the 2 policies that were just approved on Tuesday, I didn't have the chance to be able to recommend that on this. We will bring it forward, still staying in our timeline to our April agenda for consideration for approval.
Okay. I'll make a comment. I was here the last time the charter renewed, and I just want to say that it's a very different feel in the room tonight. And I just want to congratulate you again for, we didn't talk about academics, but the growth you guys have seen has been great. I always ask about the population representation at Three Rivers. Kim always knows that's my question. And you guys are working really hard to get that same, so your school looks very similarly to Fort Bragg Unified. So thank you for all the support and all the work you guys have done. Okay, so if there's no further, we'll close the public hearing at 6:48, and we will see this item next month for action. So we'll pause if anybody would like to.
Welcome to stay, but.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we get the person on the phone?
No, it's not, I know, we went back and forth, there wasn't. I'm not sure. I resent it.
It's okay, we'll just say until we get into. I think we just wait until we get to action items at this point, so I can share that once we get there.
Okay, so we're gonna
Because we
move
have
11.1. Okay, so we're gonna move 11 back to its original place.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll move on to reports. Student representative reports.
For Redwood Elementary, the second grade has resumed swimming lessons at the CB Step Center, and the registration for TK and Kinder is now open for the 2026-2027 school year. There will be no school on Monday, March 16th, and the 17th will be a dress-up day for St. Patrick's Day, with the colors green, gold, and rainbows. On March 24th to the 27th is the Spring Scholastic Book Fair, and also on the 27th is the Dana Gray Choir performance. On Friday, April 3rd, there will be an early release date as they get ready to go on spring break. And lastly, this is because of the school-wide walking field trip to the Spring Carnival at Fort Bragg High School.
For Fort Bragg Middle School, their soccer and softball teams have ongoing games. They have a dance scheduled for March 20th. The San Francisco Shakespeare Company performed Julius Caesar in Cotton Auditorium for their entire school on Tuesday. And they also had a basketball rally last week sponsored by their student council. Now for Fort Bragg High School, quick congratulations to senior Hallie Garcia, who passed the school record for 100-meter hurdles and high jump, which last year she actually matched the record, and this year she finally beat it. For 100-meter hurdles, it was 16.68 seconds, and high jump was 5 feet 2 inches, so almost my height. So separately, tickets for prom were on sale this week, and our prom is coming up on April 18th. Also for Boys and Girls State, congratulations to junior Ronan Garza Hillman, who is this girl's twin. He will be spending a week in Sacramento in the summer for Boys and Girls State. He underwent a very rigorous interview process with many candidates from Fort Bragg High School and from Mendoza, so big congratulations to him for winning. Also, our exchange students from Atsuchi, Japan are arriving tomorrow night. I myself am hosting. I'm super excited. And they'll be with us until Wednesday. In that time, they'll be participating in activities such as cowless ice cream making, very excited for that, lighthouse tours, visiting the botanical gardens, and meeting Mayor Godek. And finally, Blue Door is hosting a CPR and AED training on March 17th. And we did not get any response from Dana Gray or Alternative Education. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask you, that first aid training, is that for students?
Yes, I believe so. There's a little flyer for it in the bulletin.
That's great.
Thank you. We'll pause, because they did ask me if I wouldn't put them on the spot. Okay. All right, so 8.2, our general obligation bond funds.
So we did not receive anything from Don this month, so despite our efforts. But I will say, things are coming along. We now have a roof. We now have, if you noticed I think new today, they put in doors on this side. They're not done with all of the doors yet, but doors are sort of the last thing before it become watertight. So that's pretty exciting once we get that. Then we'll start to see sheetrock and things like that, and it'll look a lot more like classrooms in there, not just the structure. So I'm super excited there. Everything that I've heard, we're still on track for that early September completion and move-in. So we should be able to complete most of the next school year in that facility, so we're super excited.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? 8.3, California State Student Advisory Board Representative Report.
Martha introduced this just simply because she knows more of the details.
Good evening, everyone. So you're probably wondering what is the statewide student advisory board and how is Fort Bragg Unified has a student representing Fort Bragg Unified in one of the 16 seats available in the state. So we are so excited. So the statewide student advisory board aims to break down barriers and address the lack of authentic partnerships between adults and students. It also provides a platform for students to exercise their autonomy and agency and engage in project-based learning. The SSA serves as a tangible demonstration of our dedication to school transformation, working in tandem with community schools and statewide transformational assistance center to embody a vision of possibility and sustainable progress, recognizing the importance of being an authentic example and championing equity by empowering Black and Brown youth. Structures like the SSA are essential components. So 7 months ago, I sent a parent square to all the parents because any parent, any student that had that was in 8th grade to 11th grade had the opportunity to do this. I personally, as a community schools coordinator, met with 16 students at Fort Bragg High School. And I told them about the program, and only 50 of them, one of them told me, I'm not interested, this is not my thing, don't nominate me. So I was like, okay. So I nominated 15 students, and only 3 of them got response back that they needed to fill out the rest of the application. And then finally, one of the students heard back, and I'm so excited to introduce to you Francisca Toscano, who is an 11th grader. She's been involved in mock trial. She's taking AP classes. She's been participating in track. She's been doing soccer as well. So I am so excited that she's been having this opportunity. So she's gonna let us know what's been happening as a statewide advisory board.
Hi, so we started this a couple of months ago, and we meet bi-weekly in a Zoom meet because we have students from all over California. Me and another student from, I'm pretty sure Eureka, are representing Northern California. And we meet, sometimes we have workshops about leadership, inclusivity, student representation in schools. And other times we do collaborative work to practice being leaders, practice our different skills to become more well-rounded leaders in our schools. And recently we went on a retreat where they brought all the students that are on the board to Long Beach, and we went and looked at 2 different community schools. And it was an amazing opportunity because we got to see 2 established schools and how they really involve their students in the school. So one of the schools that we looked at put a lot of value in teachers and classrooms representing their student bodies. So one of them had about 80% of their students were people of color, which reflected the student body because they had a lot of students of color as well. They had a bunch of different resources and ways for students to really take on leadership opportunities. And it was amazing because there was just a great reflection of the students in the classrooms. There was posters and a bunch of different resources that reflected the culture of the students so that they would feel more included and inclined to come to school and put in that effort. So it's just been an amazing opportunity to see how there's a possibility for our schools to grow and represent our student body. And we have recently started our regional projects. And sadly, I did not get to work with my group because we're all so far away from each other. In Northern California, we can't just meet up. So I'm working with a group from Southern California, and we're working on figuring out how teachers can make curriculum more reflective of the culture of the students so that they want to come and they want to learn and they feel that they're represented in their schools. So yeah, that's what we've been up to so far. It's a great innovative opportunity, and I'm really thankful to have gone chosen and been able to represent Fort Bragg in a state level. Yes, thank you.
Part of the project that she's working on, you're going to receive a survey that she just shared with me today. We're going to send it out to all the staff, to the parents, and to the students, and hopefully, this is going to help us shape community schools.
I'm going to invite her on our equity walks.
She was a part of our regional visit with community schools that was on Friday. I'll talk a little bit more about it.
Awesome, that's very good.
Okay. All right, 8.4, Fort Bragg High School FFA program update.
Okay, so we made a little snazzy slideshow to show you guys some the photos of what we've really been doing at the farm, what our kids been involved in, and what they've been taking part in over this last semester and a little bit before winter break and whatnot, and really doing the start of the school year. We've been really busy here in the FBA program, literally since we've gotten back from winter break. We've hit the ground running on contests, trips, events that we're planning for kids, things that we're doing for them to get involved. We kind of broke it down by different categories that our officers are going to talk about for you all. So we'll go ahead and get started. And once the video loads, you can refer to the pictures, Kenai. But we'll start off with our FBA portion of our program. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, hi everyone. My name is Kenai Hale. I'm the president this year of the Fort Bragg FBA chapter. I'm super excited to be here. Me and Kelsey have been doing this for a couple of years and really enjoyed coming to see you guys and telling you a little bit about what we're doing. I'll start talking and then see some photos. Okay, so like Ms. Tullis said, we have been super busy since our winter break, and some of our first events, we went to Palermo, which is kind of by Chico area, for a speaking competition. We had competitors in job interview, impromptu, and creed. So we had sophomore, freshmen, and seniors there, which was super awesome to see them all get involved in different things. So that was our first one, and then we had our Mendo Lake section competition, which is our section-wide competition that we do, and you then advance. We had 2 people advance there, which was awesome, myself and a student in Spanish creed. So both of us this week on Wednesday went to regionals and competed representing Fort Bragg and our section at regional competition, which was awesome. Yeah. And then we went to our Chico State Field Day, which was super fun. That kicked off our ag sales competition, which we have a team of 4 for our ag sales. It's super fun. We get to kind of practice the sales portion of agriculture. I'm personally on the team and I very much enjoy it. And we also have our livestock judging team that has been attending all of those with us, which has also been super fun for them. We have 2 members on that team. There's some pictures from our different competitions. So we also had our Golden State Field Day in Santa Rosa. We had our floral team, which you can see right there with our 2 sophomore members. And then we had our ag sales team attend that one as well as livestock judging and creed and job interview, as well as our welding competition, which was the first one of the year. So that was super exciting. And then that was it for our past ones. We have been super busy traveling all over California, really. We were in Reedley a couple weekends ago, which was also super fun. That was state finals for our ag sales and livestock judging competition. So that was amazing to compete at a state level and compete at state finals. For our upcoming events, we are going to Modesto tomorrow and going to be competing in our last ag sales competition, which I'm super excited about, as well as our livestock judging team will also be going. And then we also have state convention coming up, which is our annual state convention. We are going down to Ontario And that's where usually about 6,000 FFA members all get together and we get to experience that. It's a very exciting thing. We go through numerous things, workshops, sessions, we have keynote speakers, and it's really awesome experience for all of us. So we're all super excited about that upcoming next week. So that's been it for our FFA portion.
And I'll speak really quickly on our ag sciences. As you can see, we have a lot of really fun hands-on labs that we're really trying to incorporate this year. Where we're not only getting kids active doing labs on the farm, whether we're testing different soil samples, different soil textures and whatnot, but also having them do the labs inside the classroom. For our biology class, we're really focusing right now this semester on cells and reproductive systems, genetics, and things they can use for real world livestock later on when it comes to breeding different animals, for marketing or for different breeding classes. So we're gonna do some really fun labs, like to make little rebot babies and whatnot here in the upcoming weeks. So I'm pretty excited about that. For Ag Chem, we're really finishing off our soils unit. As you can see, some of our pictures are here from our past units that we did, where we're looking at chemical and physical changes, accuracy and precision. We literally get to set things on fire in class, which all the kids really enjoyed. We made sure to open the garage door, so no alarms went off or anything, but it's exciting, those labs get kids engaged and smiling as you see the pictures as well. So we're finishing off soil unit, we're going over different types of textures of soil, classes of soil, before we move on into more of our different categories that we have within our Ag Chem classes. And then for our advanced ag, we are starting to plan Ag Day, and kind of holding gears on some of our activities that we have and planning our Ag Day for our third graders that are coming up. We're super excited about that. They'll be here in May. We just want to plan ahead. But once we're done planning with Ag Day here pretty soon, we're going to get started into our injection unit and into our suture unit, so that kids can actually have the real world aspects of things that are going on in veterinary hospitals, and they could actually put forth what we're learning into future careers in the agriculture industry. So super excited for what's to come for the next few months within our classes.
And then I'm pretty sure the next one should be the Ag Welding program. Oh yes, the shop program. I'm gonna start it off with Ag Med 1. So far we have been they've gone over all their tool IDs, so they learn around 200 tools, I'd say, 250 tools. And every week they do like a test of 5 different tools on a Friday to make sure that they know what they're talking about. We also went through the electrical where they learn the different outlets, inputs, all of that, and then they also have to wire so that way a light can turn on without electrocuting themselves, which hasn't happened because it's not plugged in, so they don't, just to really make sure. And then they also have done their plumbing, which they learn about the different PVC pipes, and learn how to solder pipes. And then the next 2 things that they will be learning is with learning how to lay concrete, to lay little concrete slabs, or we make little pots out of concrete. And then they're also going to learn how to weld for the first time, which is very fun and comical because they don't really know what they're doing so far yet, but it's really fun for them to learn. With our AgMech 2 so far, we have been doing our fire pits that we sell. We are going to be finished around the end of March, I'd say, to have all of these done, and after that, I'm not too sure what we're doing. So we're working on our fire pits, and I know Basil will come up with something. And with our fabrications, we went to the Santa Rosa Golden State Field Day, which Ken and I previously talked about. We placed second in our fabrication welding experience. Not just because I went, but I feel like we deserved first. We made some really cool. It's really cool what they made. It's not on there, but it was essentially like a floating fire pit hanging from chains, which we had 6 hours to make that, and we really pulled it together. Wow. We only took 3 kids, and we were the smallest team there, the first ones there. Not the first ones to stop, but we were one of the last ones to stop because we had such a small team, but came in second. And we are currently preparing for applications to another welding competition in April. I'm not too sure where it is, but I want to say Tamales, yes.
Hi, my name is Grant Felicich, and I'm going to talk about our school farm. So we have 2 sheep, and recently we got a new pig. Our 2 sheep are raised by Ashlyn and Caitlin, and our new pig is raised by Jada. We also grow a couple veggies on our picture there on our farm, which are lettuce, cabbage, broccoli, and sweet potatoes. We also sell them to the public and make a little bit of money. Another thing we do with our farm is we do a couple like lab tests, like Ms. Ellis was talking about, with different soils and how well different plants grow in them. And yeah, that's a little bit about our school farm. Thank you.
And then for our upcoming events, we have our Tri-Tip Barbecue Dinner, which is this April 24th, 4 through 7 is the pickup time, and then they return in April 9th. April 9th is when all the tickets are due to be turned in. It's going to be another drive-through pickup. And then for our March meeting, we are doing a community service event, and where we are making dog toys and dog treats. All students are welcome, not just FFA members, but every student. 1 hour of community service is completely open to the public.
Yeah, so we're trying something new this meeting and giving an opportunity for community service to all of our students at the high school and middle school. So it's awesome because we need our community service for each of our grades. So we're really excited about this. We're gonna be making dog toys and dog treats. And
We are taking donations for like blankets or t-shirts in order to make the like dog toys. We're just kind of gonna tie them all together, make like.
yeah, and all proceeds are gonna be going to the Humane Society, so it's awesome because we're giving back to our community. And yeah, we're super excited for the March meeting. And if anyone wants to buy Tri-Tip tickets, make sure to talk to one of our members. They should all be selling them.
And if you're interested in dropping off old t-shirts or blankets or towels, drop them on my classroom, please. And we'll keep them and we'll make them every day, so, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was it. We've been super busy. It's been super exciting. The spring semester is kind of go, go, go for all of us. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Please make sure a member comes by the district office to
Yes.
sell tickets. We will
Okay, I
always
got
buy.
Yeah, we'll be back. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We have a question, I think.
Oh, questions?
Yes,
So 2 questions. One is, what is the date of the March meeting?
the March meeting is on.
March 30th.
Just so kids, if they want to go, can know. And
I'll add
then
that to the poster.
the fire pits, are they for sale to the public?
Yes. Yes, our fire pits that they're building in Acknowledgements 2 will be for sale, I believe, like Kelsey said, at the end of the month.
Normally, Baser posts them on Facebook.
Yeah,
I want to say.
so we will make sure and publicize those once they're for sale to the community.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
We'll probably put them first on the farmer's market, in his little next section, so
Yes.
look there first. There, I think you guys have about 8 on right, or more or less.
Yeah, I believe we have 8 for sale currently that are gonna be up for grabs, so, yeah.
They're turning out very good too.
You guys have put a lot of
So what happened to the thing you guys made it? Did that come back home or did it?
Oh, from the welding competition?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we took that back.
If you would like to see it, yeah, it's in the shop classroom, it's really, we put it out in front.
So- And I was talking to Mr. Baser and he said that potentially we could maybe do an auction for that one just because it's so, I mean, it really is.
Well, and not that I'm biased or anything, but I will tell them that last year they went and they were totally intimidated because these schools pull up with these like trailers with all this stuff. And our little school shows up with our little pickup and our stuff. And so for you guys to go, I mean, they didn't come in last, but I mean, you're competing against schools that literally pull up with like fancy stuff. So anyway, kudos to you guys for really bringing it up and good job.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a school come in with this huge Bobcat generator and coming in with like a knockoff. Like, they did not take it seriously until we got finished. That was really fun.
That's awesome. You guys did great.
Oh yeah, we had Caitlin Burbeck and Brian Walter competed in that. I forgot to touch on that.
And is there a picture of the hanging?
I haven't.
Okay.
Baser's not too tech savvy, so we've been trying to show them how to send picture messages to people. We're working in progress, but soon we'll figure out how to do, just learn how to do airdrop, I heard this week, so.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, so we'll get pictures soon for everyone.
Any good questions?
Any questions?
Thanks for sharing. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay. All right, so we'll pause for a minute. Do you guys want to come up or
Yeah.
up a little bit? So we're not feel or exit, one of the two. Okay. All right, we'll move on to 8.4. No, sorry, it's 4.5. The counseling report from Fort Bragg High School.
I did not receive anything from counselors, so I will follow up and.
Okay. Preschool report.
We have slides from them, but they were not able to attend.
Sorry, I didn't see the slides.
It's okay. They have a great program. They're very excited about it. They did put together the information, but we were not able to hear. Mic load.
Do we want to just review that on our own or?
Yeah, we'll get it attached to the report and, or to the item on the agenda so everyone can see that. I'm not sure what's going on.
It's got to be well.
Internet slow.
Renee needs a new computer.
Oh, it's probably the Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think, well, we've got the videos.
it's
Too many. It's, you don't have enough bandwidth.
Yeah, it's kind of going too, so that's a lot.
they did provide a nice rounded report.
I'm trying to do slides.
It's
Yeah.
20
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
And we're
thorough.
super proud of our preschool program. I mean, they continue to do great things for our kids.
Great location.
I continue to advocate at the county level because we're funded through the county consortium. And last year they actually dropped our allocation a significant amount. So I have worked with them this year to ensure that that doesn't happen again. It's actually going up. I mean, a little tiny bit for next year, not, I think it's a few $1,000s, but it's not going down. And I was a little upset at the decision to do, the reason that our allocation went down was because they decided at the Talmadge Center that they would enact a full day preschool program, and as a result, our students, our slots were cut. So I was not very happy with that decision at that time, and so I voiced it quite vociferously. Is that a good? Anyway, and so they heard the message, and we're stable funding for next year.
Okay, so we'll move on, and I know she's here, so our after-school program. And please introduce yourself if it's not in your, for the public.
My name is Victoria, and I've been Franco. I'm the Kudos Director. I'm here on behalf of Blockworks. I have a slide deck here. Unfortunately, Jeff Tosh, our Executive Director, wasn't able to be here today, so I'm here in lieu. To update you folks on our Kudos for Kids after school program, as well as the Assets program at the high school. Next slide, please. This is current enrollment for our Kudos for Kids programs, which has been a major increase over the last couple of years, particularly our middle school program, which has now broken 100 students enrolled. Next slide, please. Here is a list of some of the enrichment that we're providing. We do a lot of sports and movement through Mendocino Coast Recreation Parks District, environmental education through the NOYO Center for Marine Science, and we've also been in conversation with PEAK, which was mentioned earlier with the Three Rivers Charter School. We do art in Mendocino at the Mendocino Art Center with Julie Carlonas. We have our gardening club at the NOYO Food Forest. We do drop-in art and drop-in music with local artists at both Dana Gray and Redwood Elementary. And we also involve STEAM in all of our programs. Here are some of our accomplishments so far this year. We participated in the first annual Kelp Fest parade. Our students made kelp-themed costumes, and we actually marched in the parade with a float, so that was really great. They had a lot of fun. We have completed the Know Your Food Forest mural. We'll be revealing that at on April 18th at the birthday event. And then we also were able to reapply for additional funding for our ACES grant for the middle school because our attendance numbers have increased so significantly. Children of Heroes Project was an initiative that we did earlier this year where our students were able to submit their art, and it was displayed in a gala at the Detroit train station. Yeah, it was pretty amazing, and we included the high school students and the alternate ed students as well as our middle school program. And just recently, this week, we hired 3 apprentices. We're launching our apprenticeship program. So we have 3 high school students that are going to be participating as aides, where they'll learn leadership skills and just basic skills for having a job, things that they get to utilize and take with them in future careers. Here are, these are some of the art that we did for the Children of Heroes project. It was Dream Trains was the theme, where our students got to talk about who they were and the dreams that they have for the future and how they think that kids can change the world. Here's a list of some of the professional development that we've offered for our staff because I'm sorry. My brain just went. Investing in our staff is super, super important. So all of our staff are first aid and CPR trained. We have offered equity and inclusion to all of our sites. Classroom management, lesson planning, a lot of these were offered at our Building Resilience Conference that we offered to our staff in August. And all of the Kudos site leadership were able to attend the site coordinator symposium in Long Beach this year. Unfortunately, that did not extend to the assets director, but just the site coordinators and their team leads. And then just another highlight about the apprenticeship program. As for assets, their numbers have also increased. They've been doing more during after school and before school. Here is a list of some of our spring academic enrichment that's starting up. Julia Anderson's doing fiber arts in the library after school. Yesenia Gallegos is doing ELD and drop-in art in the library after school. And starting this month, John Holberger will be helping out in the weight room. Here's our schedule. We have a lot of our high school teachers that assist in academic support both before and after school. And this is a pretty set schedule that they have. I don't really have anything to add to that one. If you guys are interested in our Flockworks newsletter for February, our communications person had done a really great article about the graphing calculator raffle that they do for assets as an incentive for students to come in. So you should check that out. And I think that's it for me. Is there any questions?
I don't have a question, but I do want to send a shout out to you. You've been part of the program for a long time. I mean, my boys had you as a teacher many years ago, so thank you. We've getting all teary-eyed because you were, I think, at the beginning of our huge transition in our after-school program. So thank you for sticking around. And people don't stay in these kind of jobs, and you've made it through the transition to Flockworks. And so thank you for your dedication to the students and what you do for them.
Thank you. Appreciate
it. People can't believe, honestly, when I tell them that over half of our students attend after-school programs in our district.
It is amazing, and they enjoy it. At the end of the day, when parents come to get them up, they don't want to leave. So that's really an attest to the program that our staff is creating for these kids. It's pretty great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
After middle school had, very small numbers. It's great. Engagement.
Very exciting.
So glad to see Flockworks has grown into it and grown with it and continues to grow, and it's great, so thank you.
Okay. 8.8, our SARB report.
So I thought I would summarize this in a slide because there is a little bit more extensive report from Carolyn as well in the packet that just explains a little bit of what's here. But I ran the numbers out of Aries, and as I was telling you at our board meeting yesterday, that our attendance percentage has gone up, and while that increase at 0.68% may not seem huge, that's significant improvement. I mean, most districts might see a 0.5% increase year over year. This is also day for day the same number of days in the school year, so we're not comparing apples to oranges or a whole year to a partial year with this. So we are seeing an increase in attendance. I hope that we continue to see that. We also, with the interventions that we've had with our attendance liaison, we have not had any students referred to SARB this year. So that's been quite a change there. I'm saying, okay, well, maybe we need to change our criteria and, kind of look at it as closer to a tier 2 intervention into tier 3 or something in that range, just to see if there are some students we need to get connected. But I think between our family liaisons and our attendance liaisons, they're doing a really great job catching those things a little earlier and making sure our students are getting here. I will say we continue to target this as an area, because even if these numbers are, I did not run our chronic absenteeism rates because it can change, as I saw last year, over the course of a couple of weeks. So I'm going to be a little more conservative on that and wait a little later in the year to run some of those numbers to check in. We are also bringing on EduClimber. So our admin and our counselors are working on that. That will give them real-time data that then can transfer into the classrooms once we get the system set up, because we don't need teachers to have to worry about that we want them to just benefit from the setup that we do, so they can say, let me pull up Joe and see how Joe's doing, in my class, as far, not just my class, but across multiple, if at secondary level, they can see across the classes kind of how attendance is going, how grades are going, that kind of thing, and see it all in kind of one dashboard. And they can also see across multiple years, which was the limitation that we saw with Aries Analytics, that it did not give us that depth. So now we can actually say, how's Joe been doing for the last 3 years? And see those trends and make sure that they're moving in that right direction.
Okay, thank you. All right. And then we'll move on to our superintendent's report. Joe can keep enlightening.
I realize that we left off our partners at FBDTA. Are you okay speaking at your, we do have an item on the agenda later on, or if you'd like to speak as a part of my report? I'm not sure what your time requirements were.
I want to respect your time. I don't know if you were planning to stick around for the whole thing. We're on there kind of towards the end.
Sorry, so it's truly my fault. So I'd love to give you part of my time.
I'm willing to wait. It doesn't.
I thought it was on there.
It's not terribly.
Okay, then that's fine.
We will move into the
Okay,
action
let's
items
go.
here pretty soon, I promise. Superintendent's report. We have our just an LCAP update. We're working on data collection right now. I've had a lot of feedback meetings with our staff, with our parents, with even some with students. Just getting some ideas from across our whole district, trying to get a good idea of what folks need. I will say, thank goodness, our second LCAP meeting, with changing some of the verbiage and whatnot with the announcement that went out, we had maybe not a ton of parents, but comparatively speaking, we had 6 parents that showed up. So I think that's an improvement. I'll take what we can get there. We've had our equity walks. So we have now conducted equity walks at all of our sites except for Redwood, and that will be coming up in May. So that's some great data that we're getting back from that as well. It's not necessarily the quantitative, but a lot more of the qualitative data. We have sent out a parent, student, staff survey. I may send out some supplemental pieces as well, because I feel like maybe not some of the questions that I'd like to know some answers to weren't on that survey as much as, and some of the participation rates with some of the student levels weren't as high as we might have liked, particularly at the high school because of the timing issue with notice there. And then we'll also be looking at interim assessment data on our April 23rd special meeting. So we'll have our principals coming in and presenting to the board and getting some feedback and dialogue with the board about ways they can present that data in a way that answers to some of the board priorities that we've been working on. Our next steps with the LCAP are to finalize our differentiated assistance information with MCOE. We've been working with them through a couple of meetings. Nothing too far off of what we have already discussed about our data. Finish up on our data collection, draft the LCAP, and have hopefully at least an outline to you in May. And then we will work with DLAC approval, but I've got to work on DLAC a little bit to get that up and running a little better, because we have not had a great participation in that this year. In special education, I wanted to just give you an idea. We are in what the state is calling SIM Tier 3. So, you know, CDE loves their acronyms. So what that means is it's compliance and improvement monitoring is SIM. So I met with CDE, with Carolyn, and with our SELPA director earlier this week. Our biggest issue is with timeline compliance. So that is really what put us into the SIM process. So timeline compliance is one of those that's a little more straightforward to be able to address. So I think we can put some systems in place that help there. To me, that's just, okay, we just need a better process for helping our teachers and scheduling and all of it. Because scheduling is complex, but when you get some of these teams together, they're huge. And so thinking about what tools we can put in place that are going to be beneficial to our teachers and our staff and setting this up. We also had our student performance and student suspension rates that were areas, but they were not the ones that put us into the tier of SIM that we were in. Otherwise, we would have just had a report back to the state. So now we're in a process where we have to do, by June 30th, we have to do a file review and have some data meetings and parent surveys that go out. We'll have part 2, which they didn't elaborate on too much, but that will be due by October 9th, and then part 3 by December 4th. So this is kind of a process that continues for some time. Yeah, it's a little intense, and we'll be bringing in some teachers into that group. Would have administrators. I'll be a part of that as well. It's kind of funny when the CD is asking, so who's your person for this? And
me.
It's like me. And then Carolyn's like, and they're like, who's your foster homeless person? And Carolyn's like, me. And so we're just like, it's us. I don't know how many ways we can say we're the only, we're a very small administrative staff at the district level. So I think you got it by the end of the conversation. As I mentioned earlier, we did have our community schools visit on this past Friday, so we appreciate Dana Gray staff for hosting the high school staff as well as Alted, having about 30 people move through classrooms that are actively running and students engaged in learning and all the things that were going. That was a lot going on, and our students, our staff, everyone handled it expertly. So kudos to them for that. So we had folks from all over Northern California. We had Mendocino County Office of Ed provided the coordination. We had, as I said, teams that visited our school sites there. We also, Martha did a great job of featuring student voice in the presenting about district programs. So she had many student created videos that were a part of that. And also, we had our student rep speak at that group. So thank you to Martha and her team. And then had on the next slide just some pictures from the event that were shared by MCOE. So you can see we had pretty good group of folks in the room. And I think everybody was very impressed about a lot of the things that we're doing here in our district. So kudos to all of our staff for all the hard work that you put in to make that happen. Finally, or not finally, I think there's one more slide after this, but summer of school, we sent out the interest forms to our staff this week. And so we're start planning that with the academic focus for our summer school this year. And then enrollment update. We have our projected enrollment for 26-27. We're down by about another 24 students currently, though we've just opened up TK enrollments, and so we are hoping to see an improvement there. We already have 16 people, I think, who have signed up. I think when I spoke with Sarah earlier today. So we're getting some traction. We're also going to do an enrollment fair in April, I believe. There's a flyer here for that as well. We have some charts on the next couple of slides that show TK through grade 2, our enrollment across the years there. So thank you for Renee putting those together for me. So you can kind of see our enrollment trends across the grade levels. And those are by years as you go across. And then overall district enrollment trends. Labels for this one did not come through, but it goes reverse chronologically. So you start at the bottom and then work to the top. So our current year, we were sitting at this is 1601. So you can kind of see that downward trend that we have in enrollment. And that's lines up with the birth rates that we're seeing from the county. I mean, it's just all, really, there's not a lot of growth happening anywhere in the county if you're outside of Ukiah, basically. I mean, that's about the only place seeing, and they're not huge growth, it's just kind of hold and steady there with some of the birth rates. So, my peers are experiencing this in other districts as well, and particularly the smaller districts are getting really hit hard because as they drop off that enrollment, it's significant for them. It's significant for us as well, but we have a little bit more because they'll take a 3-year rolling average of our ADA. They'll do that for them as well, but it's a lot more significant than that average when the end size is very, very much smaller. So. And then I just wanted to speak about 2 recent meetings that I've had. Met with the Professional Development Committee. Thank you, Rachel, for being a part of that. To get from each of our sites some recommendations around professional development coming up. So we're excited to be able to have some things that are relevant. And we have decided on our theme for our November Professional Development Day is going to be around trauma-informed practices for our sites. And so excited to start pulling some of those pieces together to support. And then I had the opportunity to meet with with a representative from Reach University. So I'll bring a MOU to you next month for approval with them. But Reach University provides a very unique program for our instructional aides in the district that they can earn their bachelor's degree for $70 a month.
Wow.
And so the first thing I asked, I got on, I said, thank you so much for being here today. All right, what's the catch? And they said, really, there's no catch. Really, the folks apply for any grants that they're eligible for. And if they're eligible for grants, those come to the university, but otherwise they have private philanthropy that picks up the rest. And then once they graduate, they have a program that will actually get a master's and their teaching credential through an intern program for about $15,000, which that's not too bad. And they also have an option for induction if we ever needed to pursue that. So pretty cool. They're out of the Bay Area. I think they're out of Oakland, and have now agreements in, I think they said 11 or 12 states, but California is their primary place of operation. So they're WASC accredited, they meet all the criteria. So it could be a really cool way for an affordable option. I know I'm thinking about how long it took me to pay off student loans, and I think that would be pretty awesome that their goal is for folks to graduate without any debt. So, go back on my, I'm doing the math right, it's like $3,600 for a bachelor's degree.
That's wild.
Anyhow, and our folks get credit for the work that they do in our district as a part of it too. So it's, that's why it's unique to our instructional assistants, because they have to be practicing in the classroom.
So they don't have to go like, what's the other program? You have to go to another state and do your student teaching.
Yes, you don't have to.
And then you're like, wow, I'm far away from home and this is a very difficult, I don't have the skills yet for this kind of site.
Yeah, nothing along those lines. And so I'm very excited. We're working with our partners in CSEA to have a joint rollout of this to folks to try to garner that interest and build that up. So it's exciting. And a couple of upcoming meetings that we talked about at previous meetings, so I won't belabor that.
Can I ask a question about the SIM?
Oh, yes, sir.
With the change in personnel at the end of June, are you concerned about meeting deadlines in October and December?
I don't think so. I think it's the way it's chunked out, it should be just fine, because in June, it'll sort of wrap up into one section, and then, like I said, they didn't even give us details about the next section. They're like, we'll talk to you in August, don't worry about it, it's fine. So it's just basically creating a plan and then updating on that plan in the next two steps.
Doesn't seem like great timing.
Yeah.
They don't care.
No.
Any questions? I'm sure no public questions. Okay. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda items. These are traditionally non-controversial. Is there any, what?
Do you have a report you might have?
Can I go? Oh, sorry, I'm reading on this. I'm sorry.
He had more slides. I think he had more slides.
Oh, I'm just going on the agenda.
Just that we didn't recognize Ms. Maureen Smith before she moved out of state for her retirement. So she
left on a Wednesday and I think she was gone by Saturday.
Yeah, she worked right up until the time that she was leaving, and then we didn't have the opportunity.
I was out of town and I didn't get to say.
We really appreciate her service to our students, and hopefully that she's going to do some great things in the next step in her life. So, yes, we do. So it was happened pretty quickly that we're
Awesome. She's gone.
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood what was happening. So please,
Okay,
if you.
thanks. So, go. All right. So my name is Courtney Thiessen. I'm a resource special ed teacher at the middle school. So I'm here just talking for union special ed members. And mostly it's the ones, anyway, I'll just go into my report, just like how things are going, I guess. And obviously with the SIM, it's kind of good that I went after you because it's relevant. You can go to the next slide. Thanks. So I know that students with IEPs are only 13% of our population, which is actually kind of high. And but when they do well, the whole campus is doing well, and when our kids aren't doing well, then the whole campus can feel it. And so I think anyone who has been on one of our campuses, once you're on there, you can really feel those needs if they're not being met. Thank you. So the TSP program, right now, we have the one at the middle school. You can go, I think it's on the next slide. Is Amanda Durgan. So one of her, she's doing an amazing job. She has a guy blocked his face for confidentiality. But Circle of Horses is a highlight, and that's really working well. And she's been able to get her program stabilized because she's been there and shown up to work. And she's been able to train her staff and they've also stayed. She's had, you know what I mean? Like I was saying in the fall, with staff retention is huge and we just need to really focus on retaining staff. So TSP, as you might already know, everyone knows what it is. Therapeutic support, so it's kids with the most behavior needs, the most mental health support needs. Go ahead. So some of the challenges that the TSP program has faced, it used to be run through MCOE, you guys probably know that. Previously, they had a TSP teacher at Redwood and Dana Gray, and now there's a program that's doing 2nd grade and 3rd, 4th, 5th graders. And there's one teacher with 9 kids. And I know that teacher had started with 3 aides, went down to 2, and now they're hiring another one, which is great. That position was flown yesterday, so thank you. So just reintegrating peers, like you can imagine if you're at a Dana Gray campus and you have a child that needs to be at Redwood, and it's one teacher, but you might have to do a 2-to-1 ratio to maintain safety with 9 kids that have behaviors such as biting, kicking, punching, headbutting, self-injurious behaviors where they're hitting their head on the floor, the wall. So you can imagine the level of stress that that job entails, especially at the younger ages. So I feel like that's a big area of concern for our members, just to maintain those safe ratios. And I know right now, another concern too was just that MCOE used to give $1,000 for incentives, like I'll take you to the park, I'll take you, you work through the tiers, you do your work, you go to class, you get XYZ, or we used to have the rewards room. And that unfortunately doesn't work anymore, but that's at the middle school. And then all the TSP programs, they just have 300 right now. So I know for me, the 300 covers like folders and whiteboard markers. It doesn't go very far, so. Anyway, I always just use my own money, so. And then the sub shortage, especially I think at Dana Gray, I was hearing that there's no subs. If they know it's special ed, then the subs won't go, or I'm not sure, because I'm not there. So I don't want to say something that's incorrect, but that's what the member feedback was. Oh, come on up,
I'll pop
President.
up on the podium as a Dana Gray person.
Oh, yeah.
When a special ed teacher is out, they need a sub that has a special ed credential to fill the position. And that is a real struggle at Dana Gray. And to my knowledge, when our TSP teacher has been out, there has not been a sub in her place. So that is my understanding of what's going on. That's kind of everybody's current understanding of what's going on, and that's not okay.
So what happens?
2 aides run a room with 9 kids with significant support needs. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And I have
decided, so, yeah.
I am the teacher at Dana Gray who I now have 2 2nd graders in my 3rd grade classroom because they have to be assigned to a gen ed teacher. The program is at Dana Gray, so they get assigned to me. I now have a mixed grade class, 2nd and 3rd graders, and I'm not getting compensated for that. And when the teacher is out and the aides have to stay at Dana Gray, these students are in my room. And before it was just one, but this student would be in my room all day with very minimal support because the student was doing all right.
Yeah, and I think it's not all terrible. The teacher is a great teacher and she's getting kids ready to reintegrate, but it is difficult when there's new kids being introduced and new kids identified with those significant needs to be in both places. And 9 is a giant caseload for that program, in my opinion. Because like even SDC 10 is the max, TSP it's like you want to have less than 10, like 9 is pushing it.
I don't think there's a
There's no
lot of,
happy number.
yeah, I don't think there's a lot of I don't think there's a lot of clarity around what those ratios are supposed to be, and we're feeling it at Dana Gray when things start to go sideways and students are expressing their needs. We're seeing these big behaviors, and the staff feels spread very thin, and this teacher is just continually having students added to her caseload.
So yeah, I know I think they said there were 2 workers' comp claims there. Anyway, moving to, thank you, Rachel. The middle school at the SDC. The SDC is a special day class. So those are students with, as you know, with more significant intellectual disabilities, physical disabilities. They may need a higher ratio as well. Typically, you want to keep that under 10. That's in our contract. We had, for the past 2 years, they haven't had a consistent credentialed teacher. So when you think about the LCAP and the SIM and the timelines, when you're being taught by rotating subs, you're not going to meet your timelines. And when you have an intern teacher or teachers who are great and they're trying their best, but they're new or they're catching up, they're not going to meet timelines, legal timelines. So yeah, I'm not here to point fingers. I just think it's a system-wide thing, and special ed retention is a nationwide problem. And that's my point, is to see what can we do. But I do want you guys to be very aware that it's very challenging, and that is why people are quitting mid-year and stuff. So 2 years, the credentialed teacher had left. We paid a company to headhunt. That teacher lasted less than 1 semester. Then we had rotating subs. We hired someone out of state with a multiple subject credential. She, I don't want to say because of confidentiality, but she's no longer teaching with us. Right now we have an intern who's amazing, but I do feel like having a dedicated, like Joe was saying, when you're wearing so many hats to do attendance and homelessness and foster and all this, we have an opportunity to maybe narrow our focus and have somebody with experience that would like really zero in on training these people. Unless we want to offer super high salaries and attract, we have to actually have training for these intern teachers, because they aren't, the people that we're attracting are not going to have months of your experience unless we're just lucky because their husband grew up here or whatever. We are really lucky because we do have some really dedicated people. Anyway, moving on. I'll do some good school pepper and like the ups and downs. Resource throughout the district, I feel like is doing really well. I think our resource staff are staying, and yeah, you can go to the next slide. So at the middle school, Juanita and I are going strong. We love each other. We're bonded for life. She can never retire. Isaac Fishman's our great IEP counselor. He does amazing activities. We're actually able to take some of the SEC kids off that caseload because Juanita and I are so well trained. Not to pat myself on the back, but yeah, like I've been doing this for over 10 years. And she's like, great. So we do have a really good staff. Our paras are staying. We're able to train them. They know if we do a behavior plan, why we're doing it, that we mean it, how to support the kids, how to not reward behavior that we don't want to reward, how to not let the kid call home and go home every day and set up a bad pattern, right? So I would say our research teams are doing amazing. I know Kimberly Seguret and Melissa Taylor at Dana Gray are amazing, and they love their job and they want to stay there. So I think what we really need to focus on helping is the mod severe. Yeah. Okay, so the next slide, I'll try to wrap it up. Okay. So just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I think the SDC, when we look at the LCAP, I'll pass out my little thing, but so right now the director is in charge of special ed, 504, Title IX, attendance, wellness, early childhood, foster homeless. So when you look at that, and then I'm not an administrator, and I don't want to be, I want to stay a teacher. But I'm just saying, please consider trying to figure out a way that attendance is with the liaison, or we pay a teacher. I know Erin Brazil would love to do SAR. She's passionate about it. She has a credential, an admin credential. Like, there's ways to maybe focus on training teachers. And like I said, I really want Claudia to stay. She's really a jewel. Like, she has a child with special needs, and I want her to stay, and I think we need to figure out ways to support her and really wrap around teachers and staff so the students are safer, gen ed kids are safer. So that's my union report. Slided with a pitch for, we really need, if we want the LCAP scores and the SIM and all that to go away or to like look better, we need to have teachers that know what they're doing and like aren't subs. And also, are at one site preferably. Anyway, thank you guys. Any questions? I'm open to questions.
It's a lot.
It is a lot, yeah. It took me a long time to synthesize it.
It's really helpful too. Like we hear about special ed all the time, but seeing the specifics like this are really, really helpful. So,
I wanted more pictures,
but the facts are good.
Yeah,
It's really important.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so thanks.
All right,
No
thank
problem.
you guys.
Joe, can you bring back to us, just because we got such a snapshot, and I think some more background information on this Dana Gray and a credentialed teacher.
This is just my pitch for this is just my other
So I
notes.
feel
I'll
like
share this
for
with
us,
the
it's a
board
little out of
too.
context because we don't know what's happening.
Sure.
And I know she's
This
trying to
is
give us
just-
information, but I would like to know a little bit more about
I
that.
think
It's a little
this
concerning
therapeutic
that there's not a
support
credentialed teacher in the room,
program is really,
but I'm sure there's more to it.
I can share it with you. Yeah, I have the back didn't print, but that was just how I thought we should break it down. Those are the reasons with the LCAPs, and then I can share my other data that I got. But yeah, it's really hard. And I know COE is helping us, but I just think we have an opportunity to, special ed is a really huge piece of our district, and like any district, in terms of safety and classroom and learning. Like one kid I only have 7 kids in my class, and I had one kid and no learning happened today in my 5th period because he was melting down. So, that's one kid one day. Usually I can maintain, and I don't have any paras, it's just me, I'm fine. But you can imagine for TSP, it's difficult. So, yeah. All right, bye guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks guys,
Yeah,
thank you.
Do you want me up there to answer any questions? I don't know what,
I don't really know what to ask. I just know we got some information
I'll
that's
follow up.
that's a little, what's new, and I think we're not educators, so I think we just need to circle back around and get some more information on, what's being done and what, so. I don't think I know what to ask.
And what opportunity might exist in hiring a new person or persons.
Well, and my thinking is that we can't really go back and forth at this point because it's a report, that's information that the staff need to look into and the right people need to be speaking about these areas that, because I don't know if it's new information for Joe or not, so, but
Right, that's why I just asked for him to
Definitely,
circle back around with us. I mean, we're putting that information in the public. I think we need to follow up with it. I honestly don't know what to ask, so.
I need more information.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so then we now are going on to, I'm sorry, I thought she was staying till, I misread that, sorry. So now we're gonna go back to the approval of the agenda consent items. So the 7 items tonight, and does anybody have any concern about any of them? Okay. I'm not really sure who, so I'm gonna go to Scott since he was our former president. Would you mind reading those? for us tonight?
Yes, item 9, approval of agenda consent items. We have warrants, minutes, personnel reports, interns, pre-interns, permits, waivers, contracts, obsolete items / surplus, and out-of-state travel requests.
Okay. All right.
See anything under obsolete items and surplus? There's nothing. Okay.
Just something we try to bring every few months to make sure it's there.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the consent items?
I'll move to approve the consent items.
And a second.
A second.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just one comment, if I may. It's great to see a grant or whatever it is for the online driver's ed for kids. That's great.
Yeah, that was thanks to Sage reaching out at CSBA, and then we're able to do that piece of things.
It'd be great if there was monies for the driving aspect as well at some point.
Well, just today, I bought from state surplus for $750 a driving simulator. That's literally, it's the full chair, 3 screens.
Wow.
Around, it's the one they use for like CHP, that kind of thing for their, because it's even set up with a computer and the radio and all that kind of thing. And I talked with Ari, and he actually used to design those things. So he knows well enough how to make that all work for us. So we'll get it set up so that our students actually can start moving through that.
Does that count for their hours? Or
I don't know,
more
but
just getting
it
their
counts
depth
for their,
perception?
it's just gonna help with their experience.
right.
So we'll see what software is on it and everything.
That's great.
Sure they'll enjoy that.
Yeah. I'm
Maybe some
sure it'll be a
parents could
hit.
benefit from that as well.
Possibly could have that option.
All right, we're coming back around to 11.1, our audit report.
Is he able to join us?
He's still, yeah, he's.
Oh, he's here.
Okay.
John, can you hear me?
Okay, with our muting.
See if it sounds being muted.
John, can you hear us?
Say the microphone's muted.
Hello,
Hello?
ma'am.
Yep, can you hear us all right or no?
Might use the chat for that, but yes, we can hear him.
Yes, so I'm gonna turn off the YouTube.
Okay, perfect.
Wait.
Can you hear us now?
He's
Hello, can you see my slideshow?
Yes, we can. We can see everything. Can you hear us?
I don't know. Maybe turn on the video and just say, yeah, or give it a thumbs up.
It's just so unhappy. So many things. All right, John, I don't know if you can hear me, but I can see you. You're presenting just fine.
Okay, cool. I can only hear you if I put on the YouTube. Is it like a weird playback at all?
No.
Or it's very late? Good evening, my name is John Pita, I'm a director at Christie White. The playback is pretty late. And I'm just gonna start presenting as is. So I'll be presenting the financial audit presentation for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2025. First of all, I want to discuss the audit process. So we typically split the audit into two phases. The first one is the interim audit, which typically occurs in the spring through summer. And the other half is the year-end audit, which occurs after the board approves the unaudited actuals. So during the interim audit, this is where we focus on internal control, state and federal compliance testing. We also look at internal controls, make sure there's controls to prevent, detect, and correct misstatements due to error or fraud. Is where we review cash receipts, disbursements, and payroll. And of course, we test to state compliance supplement. That's determined by the audit guide. And lastly, we look at the federal compliance, which is determined by the OMB compliance supplement. On the flip side, on the year-end audit, is where we focus on account balances such as accounts payable, revenue, cash. So we like to split this into two parts. The next part I want to talk about the audit responsibilities. So there's two responsibilities. The one is on the district's behalf. We want to make sure the district is designing and maintaining effective internal controls, make sure they prepare their financial statements accurately, and manage financial activity for continued operation. The auditor's responsibility is to obtain reasonable assurance that financial statements are legitimate. The statement and the provided related audit opinions, which are discussed on the following slide. We also want to conduct the audit in accordance with US GAAP, and it is important to note that our opinion does not address the financial condition of the district. I'm happy to report that the district received an unmodified opinion, which is the best possible audit opinion. That means that the district had clean financial statements, and you can find this on the first page, second paragraph. So the following slide I'll be discussing the following opinions. The first one is internal control over financial reporting. Again, inefficiencies noted, no material weaknesses. It's a clean opinion on this. The next is an additional opinion for which only effective if the district spends at least $750,000 in federal expenditures. We tested child nutrition clusters here, and it's an unmodified opinion, no inefficiencies and no material weaknesses. And the next piece is the state opinion on, just because the magnitude of areas that we review. So as you can see here, I listed all of the state audit areas that we test, and it changes every single year. Sometimes they add a new one. There's going to be attendance recovery for fiscal year 25-26. There's always going to be something new. The district did receive an unmodified opinion. There is no significant deficiencies and no material. However, there is a compliance finding that I'll discuss later in the slides. And the summary of audit result, it should pretty much summarize everything that I discussed on the previous slides. You can see it broken down by the financial statement opinion, the federal awards opinion, and state award opinion. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the only finding that the district received. It's been a recurring finding, it's the classroom calorie. Unfortunately, with the one-time funding received, the district has not been able to meet this required minimum for the past several years. So this year, the minimum percentage required by the state of California is 55% for a unified school district. Or for a unified school district spent 47.56% on classroom teacher salaries in the 24-25 fiscal year. This is a repeat finding of 2024 0-001. Unfortunately, there is a corrective action plan in place. distributed the work deficiency, and in the 25-26 fiscal year, this was addressed with a 5% increase to all salary schedules. And hopefully that will lead to this funding being cleared once we revisit this area again at year end. Again, there's a really late feedback loop. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't believe so. Thank you, John. I don't know. I think that was part, we were hearing the feedback loop too from.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's delayed, okay. He did say it was delayed. Okay. All right, so now he's gone, but do you have any questions before? Did they talk to somebody on this was the report, because
Yeah.
several years they would call whoever was on the audit committee.
That hasn't happened in a couple of years. They usually take and maybe they're
So
using.
that's usually in the spring audit visit that he was talking about. That's usually when they'll give you a call,
Okay.
like,
Okay.
you know, and it's usually like a 2-minute call.
Yeah,
It's not,
yeah,
it's
but I
pretty
thought,
brief.
yeah,
I mean, the first year, probably in 18 or whatever, that we were in a room with paper and we walked in with them and we had kind of an interview. And it
Yes.
got to where it was this phone
Yes, that's
call,
good.
random phone call.
Yeah.
And they asked you the standards. So in essence, is that just a coding, the
No,
date
this is,
to use?
if you remember back in the fall, we talked about
Yeah, we did, but
this, so it's based, because it's all based off
one-time
of
monies. and
last year. Yeah, the one-time monies have
It's just,
related.
it's just hard to believe, I guess it's just in that moment of time, it was in, what did it say, a little less than 3% under when it's 80% of your budget. How does that even work out? That's what I was saying, it's a coding thing. Like
Well, it's
someone
not, you have to remember, that's just teacher and aide salaries for the
Right.
classroom and the salaries and benefits. So it doesn't account for any of the other areas that we pay salaries in as well. So it's just, I think we'll be a lot closer this year, and we'll get an update from MCOE. They've developed a tool where we can track that a little better throughout the year, because that's also a piece that's been missing, is like we get our budget and we don't necessarily have
to know where you're at.
the tool to track kind of where we are in real time as we're going through the interims and things like that. So
Because if you do have trouble hiring in some areas, I mean, that could affect that number, right? Which
Could.
isn't really, it's out of your
Yeah.
control. Like you have the salary schedule that has X amount, and you think you're gonna be full, if people just leave mid-year.
So
Does that affect that number? I mean, would it or not really?
potentially, it's because it's about actual spend, not necessarily
Placeholders.
what was budgeted. And sometimes that
What
is,
you're ready for.
that's a potential area. It also doesn't include any monies that I don't think we spend on any substitute teachers or anything like that. So whenever we have substitutes filling in long term,
Well, right,
I don't know that necessarily
counts.
counts in that same way, because it's salaries, but it's not salaries that hit, the same types of areas. So there's some areas we need to look at, and like I say, the real-time tool, I think, gives us the opportunity to monitor that a little more effectively, because that's something we asked for that was missing. It's like, we're like, well, I don't know, we can't make a mid-course adjustment if we don't know where we're sitting.
okay. Well, I think it's good that it's been called to attention as something that we will have tools to monitor moving forward. Okay. If there are no questions, then I will ask for a motion for the approval of the audit report.
Also moved.
Okay, we have first and second. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Oxty?
Yes.
Trustee Schneider?
Yes.
Trustee Babcock?
Yes.
And Trustee Paoli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, 11.2, our certification of the second interim report. We had a meeting last night because our Alyssa is at CBO training this evening. And so we discussed that in quite detail. So and it's all online if anybody's watching at home. Any questions, or did anybody think of anything after they left last night?
I responded to a question that was posed from a member out to everyone. So there's an email response that has kind of highlighting the section in the form that really, because the question was about, what are we spending things on? How does that look? So kind of highlighting that section of the SACS forms, because there's, 120 some odd pages that end up being in the SACS form. So just highlighting that section so you can kind of see what I sent to you was the unrestricted and restricted combined. So you can kind of see this is the actual totals for the budget as opposed to having to break out each of those sections. Worry about the math of that.
Helpful, thank you.
So,
That's my favorite page.
Yes.
Because it's the combined.
yes,
What's coming in, what's coming out. It's as close as I can get to books.
and understanding that all of that is still the general fund. So it's a weird thing to wrap your head around that, like, okay, within the general fund, it breaks down into, you've got restricted resources and unrestricted resources. And, it's all in the accounting codes, how that's kept up with and whatnot. I can go way down that rabbit hole, but I won't bore you with this time of night. But we could do even a workshop around that at some point if you would like for the board to just kind of dive deeper into kind of the structure of those, because you get those sent to you a lot, but sometimes
Well, in the MIG, we've all been MIG certified, and there's some good, tips, but it's, it's not very thorough because it's a quite comprehensive report. But in essence, it's a little bit frustrating too, because a lot of it's just like it's all kind of decided for us. Because if 80% is salaries, what's that 20%? But then some of it's, the state's not really giving us discretion. They're saying this is what you get to do with this pot of money. This is what you get to do. So like, what really do we have to analyze to know, like, we can't do this moving forward because the third year out is, and we're obviously deficit spending. That's very clear. So that's what concerns me. Like we really need to know what that percentage is that we have to make an adjustment, or we have to have a district, development where we're being more efficient. What is that? That we can't tell from this document. But this is really what's required by the state. And it would just be nice to get a little bit more lens on that, and how each school can look at how they do business and what can be more efficient to support each other.
Well, and I think that's probably the frustrating part, is that our district is pretty efficient compared to a lot of just, situations that I've seen. I think that we run pretty lean on staff. We don't have an excess of staffing in any area. I don't think, I'm not seeing an area that I'm like, oh gee, there's people standing around not doing stuff. I don't see that at all in our district. I think that folks are engaged.
Well, but we did bring up, because I have family that has a high school, same numbers, that have much less subject teachers. And so they're obviously structuring their day differently to allow that. I can't quite fathom, but I think the master schedule is unique enough. Like, that's outside box thinking. But we might not, there's lots of pieces to that. But in essence, I want to make sure that people can be retained, because those that are showing up are working harder if people aren't showing up. So that's the reality of it. It's each side has to have those conversations to know, like, when you don't show up, then I'm working harder. So anyway.
So I know our principals and our staff are all looking at, ways, again, I don't think that we're lavish in any areas or any of that kind of thing. I think that our folks are.
That's what's alarming.
Yes.
Because if there are no lavishes to cut, like, how are we going to make this work?
Yeah. So I know one of the areas that we've talked about is, through contracts, looking at ways. And so, through upcoming negotiations, I hope that we can figure out ways that we can rely less on outside providers and get folks in-house. I think that we've got some real interest in being able to do that, particularly for our psychologists and our speech and language pathologists. So I think that with those, we can have some significant savings around that. And those little moves like that, we end up with a lot of momentum that, those dollars build on one onto the other. So the other thing I wanted to point out that I know was a question last night was around our reserve amounts, and I did get some clarification that the reserve has to come from unrestricted. but is a reserve for both restricted and unrestricted spending. So if that makes sense, it's 3% of the whole ball of wax, but it only can be pulled from the unrestricted side. So it's kind of a weird.
That makes sense in essence.
Like it does, but it's just one of those, you can't pull a restricted reserve from the restricted side and an unrestricted reserve from the unrestricted side, as you might
Think, I see, yeah, it's 100% out of that.
Just 100% out of that side.
Okay.
So it's just, so we learn more and more about these subtleties that are there because, even 9 years in this role and I'm still learning lots of new detail about those reports and the things that we can. So we'll
And
keep
then they'll
learning
change
about
it.
And then
When you think you've got it.
honestly, they have not changed this particular reporting structure too much and the whole time I've been in because I think it's so complex.
That's a big.
Well, I have to
push.
tell you, I really do appreciate Wendy's little, I need to see if I can find that.
Oh, I have them.
I
have
figured
them. I
you,
got the
yeah,
green
I
books.
think I kept them or scanned them or something. I loved those little spiral things. The main things, I'll have to dig one out and show it to you.
Yeah.
It may, I'm a numbers person, but this 100 and whatever it just gets bogged down and you lose what you're really trying to look at. But I think, as Diana brought up, we're deficit spending in that third year, every year I've been on the board, and even when I was a teacher, it's that third year is always this, cliff that we have to prepare for, and we hope it never really happens, and it doesn't, in our district, I don't know if it ever, in my 25 years, well, that makes me sound old. I don't think we've ever had to actually go off the cliff, but it doesn't look good when you see it in the black and white.
Well, and I think one of the pieces to remember, I was reflecting kind of on our conversations from last night and thinking about some of the folks that I've worked with, and we do have to have faith that our state will continue to fund us, and that we do have to spend today's dollars on today's kids with the focus on that there will be more money coming, and it's not, that we really do look at those kind of things. And so as long as we can maintain our reserve, our minimum reserves, and you have your special board reserve on top of that, I think that we're in much better shape than a lot of districts around in that. So I know the numbers are hard to look at because I'm having to look at them all and the deficit spending pieces there, but it's also some of the structure that the state has put in place that puts us all into that across the state. So it's pretty frustrating that they just won't come out and fund ongoing the way that it needs to be. And I think we saw a brief glimpse of it with the one-time funds that we got during COVID, where we're going, oh my goodness, okay, we can pay adequate increases and we can have staffing and stipends and those, the things that we need to really be super effective. And if we were continued to be funded at that level, we could do some really quite amazing things and pay and all the places that we want to do. I'll get off my soapbox.
So legislation action day is next week too, so we'll see what topics they give us. I should find out in a couple of days.
Is there anyone doing that?
I don't know if anyone signed up. It's like kind of a sign up, but I'll probably be in a room with Upaya, like a Zoom. It's virtual.
Okay, if there are no further questions, no public comment? Okay, all right, then I'll ask for a motion for the certification of the second interim report.
I move to approve the second interim report for Fort Bragg Unified.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Okay, roll call please, Renee.
Trustee Schneider?
Yes.
Trustee Babcock?
Yes.
Trustee Paoli?
Yes.
Trustee Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Is there any public comment?
I asked.
Okay, I didn't, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I
There
keep
was
saying,
no.
Yeah.
I see this microphone closer to me, so that means my voice might be getting picked up. Okay, the 2026 home to school transportation safety plan.
Okay, so if you'll remember, we've done this for a few years. It's been a requirement since they increased funding because, they give us more funding for something and they want a plan to go along with it. So this hasn't changed significantly since the last year's plan. and outlines just kind of what our home to school transportation, safety, and operations are.
Okay, any questions from the board? Okay, and I'm sure Renee will jump in if we end up with public comment. Okay, I'll ask for approval, or excuse me, that's forced. I ask for a motion for item 11.3.
I move to approve the 2026 home to school transportation safety plan.
And I will second.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? And roll call, please.
Trustee Paoli?
Yes.
Trustee Oxley?
Yes.
Trustee Schneider?
Yes.
And Trustee Babcock?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. We are on 11.4, certification of athletic coaches.
So this is an annual certification and ensures that we have done our part to make sure our coaches have training in first aid, care and prevention of injuries, adolescent psychology rules and regulations of the activity that they're coaching, and coaching techniques. Some of this is hands-on, obviously CPR is not something we can do on virtual training, but then we also have many of our coaches go through the Keenan training platform to address it. We have had our coaches doing that throughout the year, so we're getting better communication through our between our HR department and our coaching staff to make sure that that's happening in a timely manner.
I move to approve the certification of athletic coaches, one pager.
Second. Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, Renee?
Trustee Paoli?
Yes.
Trustee Oxley? Yes. Trustee Babcock?
Yes.
And Trustee Schneider?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so in our effort to become as efficient and productive as possible, we have been revisiting our board calendar and our handbook. I think we are in a place that this is going to have to continue to be revisited, and because we've really been trying to get it with our blessing and our moving forward, but we already have a comment that something needs to be added. And I think with our work with the equity work and the data work and all the things that we are trying to put policy and procedure in place, I just think it's really going to be a moving document, or constantly changing document. So is anything glaring that wants to go on right now before we approve the draft and start this as our useful document that doesn't say draft for the last 2 years?
I think it's a really good start. There's a lot of pieces that Renee's helped, guide us through, what the deadlines are. I'm hoping that Alyssa's looked at it to make sure we're meeting all of that. Because really it's a transparency piece for new board members or, the public, and just to know that, so that we aren't reactive to the public, that they know kind of like when we're talking about items. So I don't know if and when we figure out the novel curriculum, that can be put on here. So it is going to have to be maybe with our handbook every year, looking at so that it's responsive to changes and the process and the best practices. Right. And the equity. So all the yellow, or the kind of the purplish pink, not yellow, was items that we kind of put in through the equity work. And then there was some boilerplate that I liked from CSBA sample that Renee was able to type in the pink on the last few pages. I don't know if anyone else had any.
My only comment was to add, and we're not there yet, some sort of timeline process to annually measure student performance for each site. Kind of like not a financial budget, but a performance budget process. And so I think once we're further along with our equity and data work, we can add that in.
Performance budget.
Budget's the wrong word.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like performance and money.
No, it's like
What is it
more of,
like?
well, the idea at least that I've had is that in the spring, summertime, or maybe summer, early fall time, each site would present their performance goals for the year as it relates specifically to their site. And then throughout the year, and it's not necessarily something we approve, it's just more like they present and we ask questions and clarifying and all that, and then they edit accordingly, and then maybe twice or 2 or 3 times further along the year, we can measure the effectiveness and how they're doing towards the goals that they've created for that school year. So when I say budget, it's like, we have a first interim, second interim, this is more student performance, not CAS, not benchmark, but things that are really relevant to each site or special ed or, the areas that
Identified by each.
Yes, exactly. So that's the idea behind that. And if, we play with it for a year or two and then add it to the calendar, however it works, but it'd be great to have that process. Should the board choose to move in that direction. Other than that, I think it looks great. It's a lot of information.
It is.
It's very helpful when you're planning agendas.
We got it for you. So it helps us in our office quite a lot. So we appreciate it.
Okay, so it sounds like we're okay to approve it. It's really not an approval item, but give it our blessing and take the draft off for us to.
I move to approve the board governance calendar as presented.
I guess I should have said it's not a required action item.
No.
But it is on our action items tonight.
I will second.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, we'll just make sure that stays with our next item on our annual review, if not more often. Roll call, please.
Trustee Paoli?
Yes.
Trustee Schneider?
Yes.
Trustee Babcock?
Yes.
And Trustee Liston?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so now it's our board governance handbook, which thank you, Diana, for all your work on getting that.
You were the laboring or getting it going.
Well,
and then
that
I
was
the
a long time ago.
maintaining.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
So we just, what's in yellow is just what revisions, very subtle this time through. Just dates and titles. And then, I don't know if you have. Madam President, if you have any, because you may have a full lens of who wants to look at this further, or anyone have any other revisions?
No, nobody, I haven't gotten any further feedback. But again, it's similar to the calendar. I think we just need to, get a new signed version and keep it on our purview.
It's particularly helpful in this year as we move into an election year that if anybody comes to me and asks about
role,
wanting to put their name on the ballot, this is always a document I refer to immediately and say, well, let's make sure you understand kind of what the roles and responsibilities are. So this is super helpful to me to look forward to.
because the first 2 pages are really reflective, like a snapshot of the obligations monthly. And they're, let's see, we did strike the state law agreement information, and right now, currently, the board doesn't have a stipend. There is by law, there's actually state law, that it was per population, and it was like $200. But they did just passed, the state legislature passed, is $1,200 for school boards. And the max for our size city for city council is $950. So that's the max. I mean, you don't have to take that and people don't have to. But anyway, that was a discussion that we had a few times around. So a board could decide that that's what the state allows. So that I just wanted to throw that piece in as well. And then the other piece, it's not really, I guess, the governance handbook, but with new folks potentially, if they're, the Brown Act really disallows the conversation back and forth, and I always, you know, maybe looking at our agenda or putting it in the governance handbook, I just added the no further comment for the Brown Act, because it really isn't fair to anyone that has input on the new topic that you created by the conversation. So it's not so much that, I mean, it isn't the forum either, but that's the big piece of it. So anyway.
Okay. We ready to add this date, new date, and sign at our next meeting? I mean, we'll prove it today, but get signatures next time we're together. Okay, then I'll ask for a motion.
I move to approve the 2026 governance handbook.
A second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, roll call, Renee, please.
Trustee Babcock,
Yes.
trustee Oxty. Yes. Trustee Paoli,
Yes.
and trustee Schneider.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, all right, we're moving on to 12. Item number 12, we have some information and discussion. So Form 700 compliance, Renee has sent that out. I don't know if there's anything.
Just a reminder to please get that in. It's due by April 1st.
Right around the corner.
We will get more insistent with our.
Can we fill out what you sent and send the entire document
Yes.
back to you?
Yes,
But it needs a wet signature, right?
yes.
Yeah.
You have to sign it. You have to sign in paper.
Yeah.
So you can send it to me and I can print it
Snail
for
mail
you,
it.
or you can print it and sign it,
I'll
drop it off.
I'll fill it out. I've done this a lot.
I think
Okay. Thank you for the reminder and the email, Renee.
we'll start
And we do
hearing more.
continue to advocate with our county to do the electronic filing because it is much easier. So,
For the staff.
for everyone.
For everyone.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, most staff just have the one page, so that's
Yeah.
very labor intensive. But just Renee would have to, you actually have to snail mail it to FBUSD?
yes, we don't qualify for the free.
The online portal,
School boards are just below the threshold of.
the 87500, yeah. Which is required directly filed with the FBUSD. Which then they're the ones that are pounding everyone.
Plus it's fun, we get to see everyone.
Oh, yeah, to meet and greet with Renee.
Okay, 12.2, board policies and regulations for February.
These were a little wider ranging than might typically be. So definitely, hopefully you've had a chance to kind of look through the red lines and see the things that have changed. There's some I need to go back and review some of the options, but I haven't taken
There
any.
really wasn't, there really weren't that many options. The options were stricken. And so I think the one did have 9250 had the benefits. That was an option that I think Renee found what this district does. But then it was interesting, they had the remote meeting in attendance finally. I haven't seen anything from CSBA because they didn't really know how to approach this SB 707. But I am curious on timing with the freedom of speech and expression, given that it is election year. What that looks like. Is it, you can't, the electioneering, you can't wear a candidate item like at the city, but you know, how does that relate to students? But you can wear slogans. That's okay, but you can't wear, you know, like say someone's running for city council and they have a button, you can't wear that so many feet from your ballot box or the poll place. But you can wear a slogan, you know, like if there was some sort of slogan, and that's okay, which is a nice thing. But I don't know how that, if that's more about, anyway, just curious if that's why they brought it forth. I'd like to look at that one a little more closely.
Yeah, sorry, let me pull up the red line because I'm not seeing, because I mean, we've had these policies in place, so it's,
This is student expression primarily.
And I like the red line too. We have until April.
there's a lot for it actually. Yeah, it is a mandatory one.
It's 130, it's 139. Where it starts.
5145, is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
5145.
Those are both mandatory in policy and the regulations.
So it's just First Amendment.
So I think it's just, it adds some information about what specifically constitutes violation of the, that wouldn't be allowed. So there's a little more clarity there, and then adds some information, clarifies a little bit about like this student, the use of social media accounts, that kind of thing.
What constitutes disruption.
Yes. And it also says use of the official district or school websites or social media accounts. So I'm starting to get a little bit more clarity in that situation about the restrictions there. So I would imagine it's probably in line with, you know, if I don't know if you heard about Tinker versus Des Moines years, you know, anywhere in board training or whatnot, where it's talking about that from many years ago about students' ability to express themselves. It's kind of catching up with getting more toward the intent of that ruling around the our policies and practices in the district. That social media at one point it was, you know, anything that went on social media could be taboo, you know, and you know, it seems scandalous. I heard lots of things that were happening that way, and this is now that that's becoming just a mainstream way of communicating. I think we're seeing more of that becoming, has been for a long time. Our policy and laws ought to catch on.
Yeah, interesting. There's some case law that I'll be looking at.
Okay. Any other questions or items that we need more clarification on? Okay, this will come back next month for action. All right, 12.3, our evaluation tool. So I had written a little background. So where we are with this is that we've used this tool. We're behind. This was supposed to be done in January. And we had said as a group we were going to read through the tool because we find it, the wording is challenging and whatnot. So a couple months ago, I had looked up a few, trying to find some new ones. I had sent those out to the board. I had then, Luce and I had taken on this topic as the other board members had taken up the handbook and the calendar. And this is as far as I got. So the one so ours is in there. And then is this the one that no. So neither one of the things that okay. So I had started, and I was hoping to get feedback tonight, but it's not in the, So I'll send that out. I had taken the verbiage that I had gotten from the other board members that to change to use from the New York, the criteria to use to evaluate ourselves. So it was a little more clear on instead of just saying highly effective, or that's the new one, highly effective, effective, developing, and ineffective. Instead of almost always, often, less often, rarely, because and then I would also like to condense it down to one, and we had split it to do it as a person versus as a collective. And then the way I was wording the new one, I was taking all three of these plus Lake Tahoe. Is it Lake Tahoe? I'd have to pull up the email I sent Renee, but I went back to CSBA's website with the standards, and that is the group or the Unified School District that they link a lot to, and so it's more of we instead of, and so we don't have to split it out between the two. So I did start one. It didn't make it on the packet, so I will send that out, and then hopefully Luce and I can find some time to work on it too. But I'm sorry, that's as far as I can get.
Yeah, it's progress though.
Yeah, it's progress.
So I'll send that out.
I just sent the documents. Did you want me to send anything else?
That's the stuff I sent you guys Friday, Monday, Sunday, whenever that was. Yes, please, thank you. So you can see how I just kind of started, and if you could give me feedback that, yeah, that seems to be the way that we had verbally talked but never got anything down on paper, that would be great. Before we spend a whole much more time, and if we're going in the right direction. Or do we need to pivot? Okay. Thank you, and apologies for that not being further along. Number 4, discussion item number 4, board policy equity. So we have been working very, I'm gonna say hard, and spending a lot of time working on our board policy, and we would really like to get it approved next month. So we brought it back as a first, or I don't even know what number read this is.
The problem is I never got the draft because I know
I have my paper.
Yeah, because I know you had spoken with Nicole and I haven't received that from her, so it didn't get attached for our first read this month. I apologize. I will reach out to her right now to remind her of that.
But yeah, we have been, this is a 3-year in the making.
It's not the first read, but it was gonna be the official clean draft read tonight, so.
So I will get that, and we will have it in place.
Okay, thank you. See, we're speeding up the meeting. So item number 5, and I believe we don't have the document, so we'll keep going on to number 6, correct?
From CSEA, yes.
Yeah, okay. So information and discussion, item number 6, the FBDTA negotiation openers.
So we received our opening letter, and we also last night on the special meeting we had, we agendized our opening letter that I sent to you earlier this week, so we can engage in negotiations after that sits in the public sphere for a little while. They have the chance to weigh into that, so we can start thinking about dates and negotiations. Looking forward to that. Being able to move forward.
So it's 30 days from today because of or when
30
you
days,
posted it?
30 days from yesterday because
Okay,
of
'cause you
the
posted it yesterday.
That was 24, so that was Tuesday, right, Tuesday. That agenda went up Tuesday.
I guess you could say technically, but I always like to say when we actually have the meeting, because that to me is when we give the public the opportunity to engage with this.
Okay.
So it's 30 days from that date.
Gotcha.
The way our schedules are this time of year, we need to probably start scheduling soon just to make sure that we can get that going. So just have the team reach out to me and we'll figure out how to get that going.
Will do. Okay. Any questions or comments on this item? For those in the room, since we still have an audience?
Okay. I'm sure we got online viewers.
All right, other items. So our board reports. Any shout outs or things from our board tonight? We did just have a meeting a few weeks ago.
It's close together because of the
Mhm.
break. Yeah, it feels
The
close.
tabling.
I just want to shout out to all the fundraiser families, like all the schools. It's so difficult. There was a spring affair, almost spring affair, was that what it's called? You know, it's just been really difficult for everyone to fundraise. I mean, people don't have that discretionary money. So just shout out to all of them, just trying to make good for kids, and Boosters needs, volunteers, which that's not a financial, push, but it's time, and not everyone has enough time. And I also wanted to shout out to the NOYO school had art at Cobalt Gallery. And I walked in, I'm like, where is it? Like, I don't see any student art. But it's so amazing. It's like art, it didn't, usually you kind of know that there's a display from a school and it's just blended in. You can't even tell artist to artist, any, age or anything. So that was very cool. And then we do still have a student coming in weekly, volunteering at the city, getting our municipality lens, and she's pretty engaged. So I'm really excited. And that's the student that spoke tonight. I was thinking, gosh, if they could get a little, student citizen, academy to bridge all of those pieces to get kids, focused on government and the work, the goodwill of working for the public. So those were my, and of course the equity walk I really enjoyed. I mean, I haven't been at the middle school campus for 5 hours, for some time. So it was really fun to be on campus, and it seemed like super, I'm sure it's always amazing, but I think since 7th grade wasn't there, it was just the numbers. I was like, this is the numbers. Like, I mean, some classes had, I think the average was 13 kids. The most kids one class had 26, but I was thinking, this is bonkers. But then I'm like, 7th grade is missing. I'm like, that's a big group then, I guess. But it was fun to be immersed in, because I think it does make a big difference even for staff when grade level is gone. It's a pretty big deal. So good fun, and it was really fun to be around kids, and I'm looking forward to Redwood.
Okay. I don't think I have anything either. It's all blurred at this
And
point.
it is already March, so we need to brainstorm some amazing thing. Staff appreciation is, we always want to do something amazing, but we don't have.
Well, but I thought we were moving because
Right, but
it's
just
taken different, so we'll
Yeah,
have to
exactly,
discuss it,
'cause
but
we
we
were
had talked
doing
about,
November
serving
1.
and whatnot on November 1st, and then that kind of
Yeah.
fizzled out
Wow.
too, so we have to come up with a good idea.
Exactly. They can feel appreciated. Does nothing, can't be a financial thing. Yeah. So anyway.
And I have an idea, but I will wait until staff aren't in the room, so it might be a little bit of a surprise.
Or we're on TV.
So,
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will give a shout out to the Dana Grade Dance, because I don't think there was a report for them. It's my niece, but they are so excited. Like, it is so cute that this one night deal, it is like, you'd think it was like, I don't know, like the Super Bowl. Like, they're so excited. They've picked out little outfits and anyway, I just think these little things that I know as a staff and parent commitment is just, it makes a huge difference. So thank you to all those people that are going to.
Yeah, because those kids will remember it forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever.
Special forever. Okay, anything loose? Okay, all right, advanced planning and suggestions for future board meetings. I feel like I'm overwhelmed with board meetings right now.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say we don't have a board meeting next Thursday.
Say we have, I think we have full 4 weeks. Potentially, as long as,
Yeah, I believe so, because
Yeah.
we have spring break falls in there, so we actually end up on the 16th.
Well, we have
5 weeks.
15th and the 24th or something.
5 weeks of early agenda setting.
Yes.
I'll let you guys know, I will not be able to attend the May 14th board meeting. It's my kid's college grad.
Congratulations, exciting stuff.
Okay. I think we'll circle back around to advanced planning. I just think we're all a little spent right now. Okay, housekeeping and reminders, lots of events happening.
One question about, advanced planning. I know it's not on here. April 23rd is a workshop. I have it on my calendar from 4 to 8. Is that correct?
I have to.
Or if you could confirm.
I'll confirm the time. I was thinking 5 to 8, but maybe 4 to 8.
I don't know, yeah, if you could, yeah.
We will. And with that, we'll also send out some choices around some dinner or something because that's a long time ago. April 24th.
Too bad the tri-tip dinner wasn't that night. I'll just
No, it's
go Dutch and tri-tip dinner delivered to us.
figure a couple things out.
Daily.
Okay. All right. If there's no other reminders or housekeeping, then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Only a second.
Okay. Thank you for sticking it out.
Yeah.
And then, Madam President, we do need to open our special meeting.
Yes, we do.
Going into closed session for just a minute.
Okay. Thank you, because I didn't print that agenda out. So let me open it up. Okay, so we adjourned at 8:53 probably. And I will call the special to order at 8:55.
Give me 1 second so I can end our streaming. Since it's closed.
And then we'll just make here.
Good idea.